Welcome back, guys. Friend of the show, back in town recently. Excited to have him back. He's a retired adult actor. He's now a sex coach for men and women. He gives a bunch of great self-improvement advice. My buddy Stirling Cooper back in the house. How you doing, man?
I'm good, Michael.
Hey,
very good.
It's really good to have you here. I watched a video you just did recently, and I thought it was interesting because it kind of emphasizes what a lot of my guests have been saying, which is kind of this mismatch in dating. The video is called "Dating is," and right. And you kept. There's one thing you said, bro, because I was. We just had the whole thing. Obviously, you know, the death of Charlie Kirk was horrible. Rolo and I were discussing a lot of TradCon guys like Charlie Kirk who were talking about marriage, just jump into marriage. It's the Matt Walsh, the Ben Shapiro's, guys like that. And it was even Patrick Bet-David. You saw the argument he got in with Sauce about dating or whatever. And it feels like a lot of them don't really grasp how it is. Like you understand if you got married 15 years ago, your wife was not stuck on her phone the entire dinner. And now you see this addiction to phones, and you brought this up. It's like she's addicted to her phone. So why, if you can sum up, why do you think that dating is in kind of a quagmire right now?
Well, yeah. Well, she's sitting there on her phone all the time, but the experience of a woman on the phone is very different from the experience of a man on the phone, like on social media specifically. So she's on her Instagram, and she's just getting endless likes, endless attention, endless DMs, endless comments. And it's like just validating, it's building this ego.
Yes.
That isn't really earned.
Yeah.
You know, whereas a guy doesn't have that experience at all.
Yes.
You know, and so you're not just competing with, you know, the guys in the club or the guys in her workplace or the guys in her social circle, competing with every single that's in the DMs. So it's like you said, if a guy got married like a generation ago, it's a totally different ball game.
And they're trying to give us advice. They're trying to tell us, bro, why don't you get married? Like, what? And I'm just like, hey, man, you don't know what it's like right now. Yeah. Like, when you're out here in these streets, bro, you just don't understand. Like, really good women, you'll meet them, and they're still addicted to their phone. And you're sitting there, because you just said it's every guy in their DMs. Sometimes it's guys who aren't even in their DMs. Right. They just saw a dude who's ripped standing in front of a Lambo, or some guy who works out at their gym who they've never even spoken to. And they're like, look at the dude, look at their boyfriend, look at the dude, look at their, and it just, everybody falls short. Whereas, you know, you are old enough, I'm old enough. I was 23 when I got my first cell phone. And I remember a time where, you know, if you lived in Wichita, Kansas, and you were the top injury attorney, you were going to, you know, marry a girl who was real pretty that you met at Hooters. And that was it, like that. But now the Hooters girl is being flown off to a mansion party. It's really funny. There was a girl, I used to live in Wichita. There was a girl I knew who worked at the Hooters there, and she got invited to go to Dan Bilzerian's Ignite party back in like 2019, something like 2018. And she went, and she now has 10 million followers on Instagram. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, this girl would have married an attorney in Wichita, but is now living in Los Angeles. And you're right. It's just the whole thing has become commoditized, globalized.
It's like that kind of advice is like, you know, the married guy who got married 15 years ago giving advice to like the average Joe now. It's just like a boomer giving like investment and real estate advice to like a Zoomer.
Yeah.
It's like, just put your money into the market, 8% gains per year. Like just invest in real estate. They can't even get on the real estate ladder.
Yeah.
It's like, that's that massive disconnect.
Yeah. And they mean well. Like they mean well. I love, like, again, I don't agree with everything they have to say, but I'm a fan of PBD. I'm a huge fan of, I'm a fan of Matt Walsh. I was a fan of Charlie Kirk. I was a fan of, I'm a fan of a lot of these guys. But like when they start giving dating, this one thing I really like about Andrew Wilson, he's not trying to tell me how to bring a girl home. He's talking about society, but he's not giving me tips on how to put my arm around her. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's the part that kind of drives me nuts. But yeah, the dating problem. And the other thing that I thought was really interesting, and I love this because you mentioned Ryan Stone said this to you. Dating is now personal branding.
Yes. Yeah. Ryan said that to me back in 2020, and that just stuck with me. I'm like, damn, he is so correct in this. It's because most guys have a marketing problem, not an actual product problem. Like if you break dating down like that, you know, like there's loads of dudes, and you probably encounter them all the time, who are like, they make good money, they've got good career, they're in shape, they're like this, they've got competencies and skills. Like I mean, they can you know, build something, they can change a tire, they can, you know, whatever. So the product is sound, effectively. It's just they don't know how to market themselves. They don't know how to sell themselves. And that's that personal branding idea that Ryan Stone talks about. And it's like, yeah. I mean, Instagram is part of that social marketing, that personal branding. TikTok can be part of that social personal branding and stuff. And I look at, like, when I scroll through, you know, Instagram and TikTok, the algorithm is like feeding you people that it thinks you'd be interested in.
Yeah.
You know? And so you're also competing against the algorithm in a sense too.
Yeah.
Like, are you interesting enough to captivate people's attention? It's like, does that imply that every single person or single guy has to now be like a social media influencer to even get foot in the door?
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts.
I don't think we're there yet, but it does get closer to that. But the thing I think is, you can still meet someone in person. And I've interviewed hundreds of girls, and I ask them same questions every time. Last 5 guys you slept with, how'd you meet them? And then I'm like, once you meet a guy, what's the first thing you check? And the answer is always the same. Last 5 guys, how you meet them? It's almost 80% a girl introduced me.
Yep.
And what's the first thing you do when you meet the guy? You check his Instagram.
Right.
And it was just like, and guys don't hear me. They still think it's just, let's just do hardcore direct game cold approach in a fucking bar, and I'm going to meet the girl of my dreams. I'm like, yeah, that would have worked in 06. Or you don't. I was just thinking about this. I lived in Austin from 96 to 2004. When I lived there were no cell phones. And there was 52,000 college kids there, right? So there's 26,000 females, plus St. Edward's was there, plus UT San Marcos was there, plus they had tons of strip clubs. So you'd walk up and down 6th Street, and there were all these gorgeous, skinny women with like amazing bodies everywhere, and every club had more girls than guys, and no one had a cell phone. And when I try to explain that to kids now, like that are in their 20s, they can't grasp. And I was like, going up and doing cold approach was awesome back in 2003. It definitely worked. Yeah. But now, I've had guys come on. I have friends of mine, deca millionaires, guys worth hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. And they always say the same thing to me. It's like, whenever I go out, I don't see 10s anywhere. Right. I just don't, they don't go out. And then you see these stats about nightclubs closing all over the country because beautiful women aren't going out. They just don't go out to the same extent. So the idea was, you meet a girl in person, and then you have a good social media presence like you do on your IG. But we don't have to be family. You and I are probably an exception, but like most guys, you got 5,000 followers, 1,000 followers. But if you don't look like a creep, then it's really, really helpful for you. But that's kind of a big issue.
Yeah, and it's not hard to like make your Instagram look better than the average guy's Instagram.
Yeah,
like it's real simple little things like learning how to take a good photo. Right? Is I see a lot of guys do it wrong. I've seen so many guys, especially because of my involvement in like the war room with the Tates and stuff. There was a period of like 2 or 3 years where I saw so many young guys just trying to copy Tate. And I could be accused of that, posing in front of a car or whatever, having a cigar or whatever, the fuck, right? But it's also a case of like, I saw so many young guys try to do like you know what I'm talking about?
The angry,
the pose, right?
Yeah.
The like
stoic pose.
What's like is it stoic or is it? There's a word for that look on the face.
Disinterested or something. Yeah, I know something. Yeah. The problem is what I try to explain.
But I'm a guy.
Yeah.
And I look at that photo and I'm like, you're posing.
Yeah.
If a woman looks at it, her reaction is going to be even worse.
Yeah.
Like there's something about like being genuine and being captured in the genuine moment. Like if you're like, your photos are different because your photos are always surrounded by women, right? Yeah. Most guys are not going to have a chance to get a photo like that, right? So if they're going to get a good photo, I always tell them, hire a photographer for the weekend, get them to hide in the bushes and photograph you and your boys having a laugh.
Yeah.
Because first of all, most people can't smile properly in a photo. But when you capture someone genuinely laughing, it looks way better. When you capture someone genuinely being social, holding court, maybe like talking, commanding a presence in a room, is attractive, and it ticks so many attraction triggers, And all you have to do is just do what you usually do with your boys, and just have some dude you hired off.
I shot this for Tristan.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. This is the best photo I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like that. Put that stuff on the screen right now. That is like the best photo. If you could, like 11 out of 10, that you can't pick a better photo than that.
Yes. So what I did was, so the girls were all around him at dinner. Yeah. It was a comp. And I told all the girls, everyone look at Tristan like he said something hilarious right now. Yeah. And Tristan tells some dirty joke right there, and all the girls start laughing. Here's the best part. There's a girl to his right that's not very attractive. and they photoshopped her out of the photo. And by the way, you can use Nano Banana right now, and you can literally say, hey, that girl to my left, can you remove her? You guys, check out Nano Banana. It's go on Gemini, Google Gemini. There's the thing you can push, and you can tell it. You can have like you a photo with like 6 girls and like put us in a cheerleader pyramid, and it'll rearrange you all. You can make them do whatever you want, and it's wild. So
Nano Banana.
It's just the photo editing feature in Gemini.
Wow.
And he just removes the girl from the photo. And I told him, I was like, yo, man, I can't get this shot because there's this girl sitting right here. He just removes her from the photo. It was just genius. And that photo was so great because I told him, it was like, everyone react to him 3, 2, 1, and then flash. And then we were using a Canon GX. I forgot which camera was, G7X. And I took that photo, and he's like, oh my God, I love that. And you're exactly right, because he's not looking at the camera. No. He's normal biomechanical move. It's the problem when the guy's walking like this and his head's turned this way. And it doesn't look, it's very obviously posed. What we do is we have, there's a couple things. We'll have 2 guys, they're partners, and like they'll sit in an area and the other guy will take a photo. And like they'll kind of take turns getting candid shots of one another.
Yeah, I mean, that's what me and Justin did for years.
Yeah.
When me and Justin Waller were living together, or when we were traveling around the world, like doing all kinds of crazy shit together, that's exactly what me and him would do.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be like, holding court, I'd take a photo of him, or he'd be in a really cool background, I'd take a photo of him, and vice versa. And it's like, maybe like my sister's a photographer, maybe I've got a good eye for like, I don't know, shot composition or something. Justin's really good at it naturally, maybe, but I don't know, man, it's not that complex. If you just practice it a bit, you can pick it up pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's before, if you take my course, before the first pillar, we actually have a photography pillar, and my photographer, Casey Herzog, he teaches you how to do this.
Right.
So I teach, because it is so important. There's 3 types of photos. There's the lifestyle photo you're talking about. It's in front of the car, smoking a cigarette, Burj Khalifa, Eiffel Tower, Grand Canyon's behind you. So it's lifestyle, right? Then the second kind is pre-selection. And those, a lot of guys don't want to post them because they think it looks try hard. But like we talked about before, there's so much data that shows if you have attractive women near you. Texas Tech does do a study on this. Royal Society does a study on this. Southwest University does a study on this. Oklahoma State does a study on this. And they're just definitive. Men who take pictures with attractive women are more attracted to other women.
What do you think about the guy who's taking the obvious photo with like 2 promo girls?
Yeah. So
what do you think about
that? That's
terrible.
So
okay, good.
So it's a great question. So they need to be turned in towards you. You're not turned in towards them. You are not touching them. Even if your hands are out here, they can kind of see you're not touching them. They're touching you. So I have the girls turn their torsos in towards me. The girls have to be smiling. If they're not, you can just go and face up and make them smile. The girls have to be smiling and looking compliant, and they're turned in towards you. And here's the big one. This is the one for me. The girls need to also comment on the photo and be following you. This is a hard one because a lot of guys don't do this. This is where a lot of guys are like, they think that I'm just photo bombing with all these hot girls. I'm like, if I'm photo bombing, why are all the girls liking the photos and following me? Right. So that has to do with using female teammates. Now they come and take these photos with you. And there's one crazy study. They compare a man showing a wedding ring. So having a wedding ring actually does add to a man's attractiveness with women. Then they compared that to another man taking a picture with 4 platonic female friends, and which added to the attractiveness more. The platonic female friends, when the women didn't know if the guy was sleeping with them, made the man more attractive than if she knew he was married. Again, the data is just conclusive on this. And so the pre-selection ones are hard, especially if you're a lawyer or a doctor, you don't want to post that kind of stuff.
Right.
Third type of photo is the candid, like what you said before. These are the hardest ones to get, but they make you not look lonely. It's the constant lifestyle photo in front of the Bugatti, you know what I'm saying, in front of the playing poker, wakeboarding, whatever. It looks cool, but you look alone.
You haven't got any friends.
You haven't got any friends. So that's the big one. Like for me, the pre-selection photo, the big one is you take the pre-selection photo, but all the girls need to be tagged and they liked the photo. That's the pre-selection. It's not just taking a photo with girls.
Right.
So this is the misconception that a lot of people have. And so, I think it's
really a good
important.
I like that little subtlety. That's good.
There's 3 again. You saw the Keanu Reeves. He doesn't. You've seen the photos. So guys, look up Keanu Reeves in these photos. He doesn't touch the women. You can see he has these floating hands. And it was after the Me Too. And so I teach all my guys, do not touch women in any photos, but have them put their hand on you, kissing your cheek. Women are always touching you. You're never touching them. It's huge advantage. But the candid ones are the hardest ones. Because you have to find an angle where everyone's looking at each other. But and then the other one is these guys who use steady state flashes whenever they're trying to take photos, stop doing that. Those big ass lights, flash photography, it requires a flash, not a steady state light. and guys screw this up all the time because they're using video lights for flash. Anyway, not to get too far
No,
into this,
that makes sense.
but the photo stuff is like the first thing I teach in my program, because there's nothing, if you are the most charming dude in the world in person, and I am half as charming as you, but I'm on Instagram, I'm still 100,000 times more scalable than you are.
Yeah.
It's walking up door to door versus using meta ads. It's not even close.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference. And then from there, taking them from a unfamiliar environment to a familiar environment, which is the social circle. And now I have a chance where, like, usually Chad is going to beat me out because he's better looking than me. Now I'm taking this girl to my animal rescue charity, and now she's just obsessed with me.
Yeah.
And so that's
because all she sees is just a bunch of women giving you attention.
That's exactly right, man. And people hate that. They still debate me on this, but it is the single most conclusive thing I teach. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say about this. Look up data saying that taking pictures with attractive women makes you look less attractive. Find a single study anywhere that even comes with a neutral result. You won't find every single study comes with the same result, and yet I still have people arguing with me about this. It's wild.
They don't want to believe it, man.
No, because it's the reason why the short Indian dude's dating a hot white girl, and people can't understand until they see it.
Right.
So the personal branding, the dating is a personal branding thing. Personal branding for your business also showing competency and making women more attracted to you. Is that something you've noticed?
Yeah, I mean, our socials are kind of a bit skewed in that regard, because we literally talk about dating and relationships and sex and stuff. So it's a bit hard to, like, look at that ours objectively, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely having like everybody I know who has, like, you know, a coaching business, a bit like this, they're currently using, like, those who are successful, it's not a faceless brand. Yeah. Like, they're using themselves to market their law firm or their accounting firm or, like, whatever, just because people want to do business with people. They don't do business with, like, a faceless
but
entity.
If you're an accountant and you make content and you have 200,000 followers, women will still notice.
Yeah.
Even if 90% of my followers are male, and still when women see my accounts, and I'm talking about nothing but from a man's point of view, it still helps me.
Yeah. And I'm giving advice pretty much exclusively to men.
Yes.
And I have women sliding in the DMs.
Because you look competent.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Look, you look like, it's not that you're giving them advice. It's that you're competent and other men follow you.
Yeah, you're holding court.
And they don't even pay attention to what you're saying. Yeah. They just see, dude, Stirling's popular. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever had guys come up to take a picture with you?
Yes.
Okay. And then they're like, hey man, sorry to bother you. And I'm like, no, bro, I'm on a date. You can take it.
Oh, bro.
Yes.
I used to, in Marbella in Spain.
Yeah. For
some reason, the place I got recognized the most was in Marbella, Spain, because it's like this English expat community. Yeah. And it was always like one area, like in the port, where everyone would just, like, walk around. And it was always filled with, like, young English guys.
Yeah.
And that's what, every time I had a date, I'd make sure I walked through that place, because every time some dude saw me, same thing, he'd run up, get a photo, she's now dripping wet.
Bro, it's
every time.
They're always like, hey man, sorry to bother you. I'm like, no man, I'm on a date. Go ahead. Let's take
Please.
a picture. Come on.
Bring it up. You're helping me, bro.
It's so crazy how many times that happened. I was like, yo, you're not bothering me at all. It'll happen in the airport. I'm like walking around and people will walk up, and because that's the thing. It's like, I don't have content mainly for women. I have content for men, but if you have enough competency, even if you're there's a guy who lives here who's a personal injury attorney. He posts billboards everywhere. You see his face everywhere. And he's just like, women just flock after him, but his ads are not to attract women. He's just has a personal brand that shows that he's competent and relevant. And that's enough to attract women. Another massive confusion that a lot of guys have is, like, they need some sort of Casanova thing. Like, no, could you imagine if you go on a date with a girl and she goes to your IG and you never mentioned it, and you're the top cardiologist in all of Australia? Could you imagine, like, what it would do for her to see that? It's like you're giving speeches at some university, but you didn't say anything about it on the date, but she discovers it on your IG. She'd lose her mind. And that's what guys don't understand, that concept of being able. The other great thing about social media is it can let a girl discover great things about you instead of you bragging about it on a date.
Yeah. It's the subtle flex without shoving it in her face. And here's a concept that I've been bouncing around with recently, is like this, the idea of, like, now I believe status and attention are interchangeable now. Let's if we rewound the clock, right? Like Industrial Revolution time, right?
Yeah.
for you to get attention from people, you had to have status. Like people, like you're a respectable businessman, you're a politician, you're whatever.
It was a meritocracy.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So like, because you have status, everyone is giving you attention. Now we're in a situation where like TikTok influencers are a perfect example of this. Like, by virtue of the fact that you just have a lot of people giving you attention,
you have status.
You now have status.
Yeah.
So it's not competency derived. It's just eyeballs, all right? Like, people can just be outrageously stupid on TikTok.
Yeah.
And people, by virtue of people just giving them attention, like this billboard thing, that billboard example, now you, by virtue of it, just have status. So the two are kind of interchangeable now.
Yeah. I mean, the craziest one I saw, I would go out here and I'd see O.J. Simpson all the time. He lived in Las Vegas before he died, and just watching people surround this guy who stabbed 2 people 56 times and allegedly, love you, O.J., allegedly stabbed people 56 times. And I'm just watching these like blonde white women like circle around him. The thing with Jordan Belfort, he punches his wife in the stomach, kidnaps his own kid, and we're all just like, I'm not leaving. We love. Everyone loves Wolf of Wall Street. Right. No one doesn't like that movie. No one didn't think Margot Robbie was hot in that movie. We love that movie. He punches his wife in the stomach. This is a real thing that happened, and this guy gets invited to everything. You know, like, it doesn't make any difference. Kim Kardashian makes a sex tape, and now she's the face of prison reform in the United States. It, like, nobody cares. You see all these Chris Brown videos where he's like rubbing on all these girls and they're taking photos for like $1,200. Do you guys remember when he beat the living shit out of Rihanna and nobody seems to care about that anymore? It's exactly what you said. Just being famous. Here's another example. I know a guy, multi-time felon, lives in this city. I'm not going to say who his name is. This guy really does not like me very much because I told him just stay the away from me. And everyone in the city was kind of avoiding this dude because he had been convicted of a felony, a very bad one. I'm not going to go into specifics because y'all be able to figure out who it is. And then all of a sudden he had a celebrity wedding at his house, and now everyone forgave him. Everyone was friends with him again. No one gave a shit about anything he did. Again, Logan and Jake Paul, shill coin. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, fight with Mike Tyson, $40 million. No big deal. We're all going to show up. So yeah, it's bad and it's good. It's like, it makes us look like hairless murder apes. Basically, if you do better, if you get more, the best example that there is Fresh and Fit. Think about this. Like, they toast women on that show constantly. I'm being objective. Yeah. They have women coming on there, but because they get, 300,000 to 700,000 views per episode, sometimes 1 million views an episode, there are women lined up to come on this show, whatever podcast. They have Andrew Wilson on there just like looking like Sean Kemp dunking on women all day long. And you have women lined up. And I talked to Brian. He doesn't have enough space around the table for all the women that want to come on the show to get dunked on. Do you understand? That it's just because you have eyeballs, people forgive you for everything. It's crazy.
It's nuts, isn't it?
Isn't it wild? Yeah. There's one thing I want to ask you, because I really thought that was interesting. You were talking about people, the media deliberately misleading you. Are there certain things that you think the media deliberately misleads you? And by the way, we can go to the estrogenation stuff, any of that stuff. What are certain things that you think the media deliberately misleads you about?
I mean, at least when we were growing up,
yeah,
right? Because we're both like, you're a little bit older than me.
Yeah.
I know you're a little bit.
I'm turning 48.
Okay, you're 10 years older than me. So. But even when we were growing up, right? It's the narrative of like what women like and what women respond to was like Friends and Hallmark movies and Disney rom-coms and stuff
and
like
Hitch.
That. Hitch.
50 Shades of Grey.
And so like, and I don't think that's really gone away that much.
Yeah.
And how many movies can you name me where you think there is an accurate portrayal of male-female dynamics?
So there's a few, and they're people get canceled. So there's a show called Alfie. Do you remember Alfie?
No.
This guy, Jude Law, and
yes.
he's a complete male the whole time, but he ends up with the girl in the end. There's another one called it's Ashton Kutcher is in it, and it's Layout or The Spread or something like that. And he just like bangs a bunch of chicks. But these were Swingers. Do you remember Swingers?
I remember that movie, yeah.
But that's a Harvey Weinstein movie. Like when you think about it, like that movie would never get greenlit today. And you know what show you can barely find anywhere? Californication. That was an accurate portrayal of a dude who just does not give a shit shit about what anyone thinks about him, and he was banging a different girl in every episode, David Duchovny. But other than that, all of those shows, they're canceled. And then if you even watch, do you ever watch Suits?
No, I never watched Suits.
So Harvey Specter is in the show Suits. In the first couple seasons, he's just like tagging every chick. And then what happens is each season, they progressively put him with an older and older and older woman till he marries a 50-year-old woman. Like it's because they needed to neuter this handsome male stud who was banging all these chicks. So yeah, correct. It's like, it never works that way. And then the bad examples are like Big Bang Theory. I'm just a nerdy guy and a 10 lives across the hallway and I'm going to bang her. Or I'm watching The Boys right now, that superhero show. And it's like, I'm just a nerdy guy who works at Radio Shack and I'm dating a supermodel. Okay. And I'm just nice and I'm super vulnerable and chicks want me.
It's this kind of, it's like, and people wonder why guys get frustrated with women. People wonder why guys end up in that like red pill rage area of their life, or they have this massive resentment towards women. It's because they've been told their whole life that women are like this way, when in reality they're over here.
Yeah,
it's really cruel.
It is
that we just constantly feed men this complete. And I mean, women are kind of fed this stuff as well, but I don't think they're really. It's not like affecting them the way it affects guys.
Yeah, because they don't. Privilege is invisible to those who have it, and they don't. Okay, so if you told me. I mean, you've seen my type, right? I like the volleyball player with a boob job. Like that's if I tell you what I like and you were to look at the women I date, they're like exactly what I described. Right. So I'm kind of in touch with my attraction triggers. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I'm not ashamed about it. I like big fake boobs. I'm not lying to you about it. No one's confused. If you look at my dating history, that's what you'll see. When you hear women talk about their dating history or they talk about what they like, and then you see who they date, there seems to be this like weird disconnect. I had this one Playboy model on my show, and I go like, what is it? What kind of guys do you like? She goes, I just like guys who are really nice to me. It's like, really nice? It's like, yeah, I want guys to just stalk me and like be obsessed with me. It's like, that's interesting. Tell me about your ex. He was a narcissist. Okay, so the narcissist put his penis in you, but you want guys to be nice to you, but you don't date any of those. And I actually knew about her personal life. I was like, you don't date any of those nice guys, but like you're saying you want a nice guy, but you're literally dating a guy who's a narcissist, who, by the way, I bet isn't even a narcissist. Right. He's probably just a guy who has boundaries and no one's ever told you no before.
Precisely.
And I watch this, and the way Orion Taraban says it, it goes, it's the part women leave out. They don't want a man to buy them flowers. They want a man they're attracted to buy them flowers, but they can't conceive of how a man could become attractive to them. Because we as men are the same way. If a woman's ugly, we're not going to find her attractive no matter what she tells us. So, I mean, I get that, but that's the reason why, like, inherently, it's very rare. There's a few examples, but it's very, very rare for me to find a woman who can actually describe her attraction triggers. Yeah, very rare.
It's also you touched on something there, which is kind of interesting. That like women's innate solipsism stops them from even being able to comprehend self-help.
Yes,
male self-improvement.
Yeah,
it's like it's kind of funny. Like, okay, you've probably had this experience. Let's rewind the clock a bit for you, Michael, because before you like really understood this whole social proof concept and you just went ham on it, right? Did you ever have a situation, because I've had this so many times, where you date a girl and she immediately assumes that every other woman on the planet wants to fuck you?
Yes. Yeah, isn't it wild?
Right?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
And I think most guys have had that experience.
Yeah.
Where it's like, they can't comprehend that other women would even think differently.
So here's how you prove this. So we'll do this tonight on the show. Remind me, okay? We'll ask every girl at the table, on a scale of 1 to 10, how promiscuous are your friends, right? And they'll all say 7, 8, 9. They'll all say their friends are hyper promiscuous. Right. And then we'll ask them, how promiscuous are you? And then they'll all say 2, 3, 4. And I was like, no, it's like, no, because that's what happens. Like, they think I'm super picky and I'm sleeping with you. So that means every woman must want to sleep with you. And the answer is, if we had your friends here, they would say that you are also a 7, 8, or 9, because they think you're exactly as promiscuous as they are, or more promiscuous. So women generally think they're less promiscuous and their friends are more promiscuous, but it's not. It all equals out to be the same. And so, yeah, I've noticed the same thing. Here's the other thing I've noticed. When she stops thinking that, is when you start having problems.
Yes.
She needs to keep thinking that, because what it is it's built-in dread and pre-selection, mate choice copying, but it's built in, it's virtual. And so I've had situations where I could feel that sort of slipping away. It's like, okay, cool. Then I'm going to go have a party with 50 girls. I'm going to go, oh, it's okay, baby. You can't make it. It's fine. I have to host a bikini competition tomorrow. I'll see you afterwards.
Right.
And then she sees on IG, and then all of a sudden, she comes over and she likes me again. It's really weird how that works.
Right. I can tell that if a woman stops giving her husband a,
Yes.
I guarantee she is not afraid of any other woman trying to.
Agreed.
Like she just like, and that's it sounds, you know, I get asked the question all the time, like, how can I like get the spark back in my, like, especially for guys who've been married for like, you know, 10 years, long-term relationships. Like, how do I get the spark back again? How do I get her to want to give me a again? How do I get her to actually be attracted to me again? And like the best answer is like start out how you mean to go on. Like if you set the frame correctly at the beginning, it's a bit easier. But like the best answer is like you got to make her jealous.
Yeah, it's so like, it sucks because what your answer, while it is completely accurate, comes off as cynical.
Yes.
It comes off as cruel. It comes off as transactional. But like that's how human nature works.
Yeah.
All interactions are transactional in the beginning. It doesn't mean you can't sprout love later. It doesn't mean, but you didn't start dating your wife because of like some energy. So she was hot.
Yeah.
It was a transaction. Maybe it wasn't a financial transaction, but she got to be with an alpha male and you got to be with a hot chick. That was the transaction. And then from that, love can sprout, possibly, but people hate this idea. And it's true. It's like women choose who other women choose. And so the quickest way that I found to fix any sort of situation is that she has to know there are other women that are attracted to you. And and of course I say that in front of a bunch of women, they're like, no. And it's like, yeah, but you're still sleeping with these guys, even when they're surrounded by other women, even though you're complaining about it. And so it's one of those things where it's like, it's very rare for me to find a woman who is fully in tune with her attraction triggers. When I find one, they're like, yeah, I really like the bad guys who take a lot of steroids and I like guys who are like covered in tattoos. I was like, okay, her. I can listen to her.
Yeah.
She's being honest. The rest of them, I'm just like, oh, you like guys who read. Is that right? You like guys who read? You just want to all the readers. Is that correct? And they're just lying, bro. I swear, I read 60 books a year. I swear to God, if I should have women lying around the block. You don't care that I read? It's so stupid, bro. Have you seen that thing? It's like sexiest, it's like for men's sexiest habits, and like number one was reading, and then the very bottom one was like listening to Joe Rogan or red pill content. And I was like, all my friends who listen to red pill content are begging hot chicks. I don't know what you're talking about. Seems to be the opposite. And all my friends who read a bunch don't have any girls at all.
There's no women in the library.
It's so crazy to me that women say this, and I read a ton, and I'm like, you don't care at all that I read. You care that my ex-girlfriend was hot, but you don't care that I read. It's just stupid. One of the things I really did, just you mentioned this before, I totally agree. I think to most women, not all women, but to most women, the concept of male self-help is almost like a cute thing. It's like a little kid saying that there's a monster in the closet. Like they don't think it's complete and total make-believe.
Yeah.
The idea that a man could change that much. Because, Rich Cooper, he says it perfectly. He goes, women wait at the finish line and they f the winners. They don't care. They don't care about your struggles. They wait at the finish line and they f the winners. And it really is true. It's like, it's very clear to me that when a woman's attracted to me, she has no concept of all the work I put into myself.
None whatsoever.
To become stoic. You also talk beautifully about the concept of stoicism, like being comfortable with yourself, like when you're talking to a girl instead of being giddy. And it's like, that took work. That took me being with girls as like lots of women as hot as you or hotter than you, consistently being able to deal with the pressure they put me under and totally being unaffected by it for years before I got to the point where I could do this with you, and you don't see that at all.
Like you've obviously helped a lot of guys go from being like autistic to like attractive. And I've seen it as well. And it for us, it's this is an amazing like teacher's journey. Like I get to see the dude like make that transition. But if you took those, like who he was before and who he is now, if you put those two men in front of a woman, they would not register as the same guy.
Yeah.
Like I've shown, I will show you afterwards. I've shown photos of me when I was like in my early 20s. Like I had long hair. Most people can't, like long hair, geeky looking, scrawny as hell. I've shown this to my girlfriends and they don't believe it's me.
Yeah.
They're like, that is not you.
Yeah.
Like you're lying. I'm like, this is on my Facebook. Like, they just can't, it's an inability to see things like progress, because like you said, women are born with their innate value, and it kind of like deteriorates over time. The concept of improving and changing your attractiveness is totally
you went through puberty and your SMV is at its max, right? Oh yeah, and the other thing is like in order to make a lot of money, the discipline and habits that you have to inculcate into your life, they're just not conceptualized. Basically, they see a man and the man has money, and that means in her mind he always had money,
right?
And there's a pot of money, and the money is infinite, and it just exists because he's the way he is, and he's always been that way, and never put any work into it. Does that make sense? Like the concept of like, no, I had to fire part of my sales team and rewrite this SEO and rebuild my funnel, and I had problems with my Discord server and blah, blah, blah. That never comes into the comprehension, but all those things led to the money. The worst was when I was dating a girl and she's like, I don't like the stuff you talk about on YouTube. And like, I think we shouldn't go out. I'm like, you didn't have a problem when we went to Cancun. That was how I made my money. You didn't have a problem when I took you to dinner. You didn't seem to have any problem with how I made my money back then, but now you have a problem with it?
Talking about it like it's a blood diamond.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's one of the wildest things because they don't conceive. They just think there's just money. They don't realize the things, the bodies you had to bury and the people you had to step on. I'm being figurative, but like in order to get to the point where you were able to make money like that, and they just do not comprehend it. And so, when you try to explain it to them, that's why women don't really have a big problem with my program, because they just kind of think it's make believe, right? They just don't think it's like, you can't make Sandeep from New Delhi get a hot chick, and I'm like, well, there's Sandeep and he's got a hot chick. Well, how do you think that happened?
Right.
And but they don't conceive that it could be real.
I'll give you another example from the stuff I teach when I teach guys how to be better in bed, right? I've had guys verbatim who were either a virgin or they'd maybe only been with one girl before, right? Verbatim, when they text me the next day, like, hey, I had sex with this chick, and she would not believe, she refused to believe that he was a virgin.
Yeah.
Refused to believe that he only had one girlfriend before. She's like, you must have slept with a ton of women. That's how ridiculous it is. They cannot, the idea that I can take the things I know in my brain, put it in an average guy's head. Yeah. Be like, that's how you fuck a girl properly, and it works. Women can't conceive.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. And I understand why. Like, it's just one of those things where, like you said before, because a lot of their value is, and by the way, not their value as a human, right? If you and I had a family member who was saved by a female doctor, that's an amazing thing that she's done, but it doesn't make us more attracted to her.
Correct. Yeah.
We're just only talking, because people get mad about this, we're only talking about sexual market value. We're not talking about your value to humanity, right? If you've saved a bunch of people, that's different. You're a doctor who works pro bono and you go work at a clinic that's different, okay? But a lot of times what women will do is they'll conflate the two things, because if I'm a world-class cardiologist and I'm a man, that also makes me attractive to women, being a world-class cardiologist. If I'm a world-class cardiologist and I'm a female, those are two different things. Yeah. The cardiology doesn't make me attractive to other men, but my physical appearance does. And by the time I become a world-class cardiologist, I'm so late in my 40s that fewer men find me attractive. Even though I'm rich and I'm famous, nobody cares. And that's the problem. And it is unfair. If people think it's unfair, it is unfair. Yeah. But that's how the world works.
Double standards exist for both sexes.
Jedediah Bila asked you about, can you spot body count? I thought this was an interesting one. Yeah. Spotting red flags and spotting body count. Like, what do you think about that overall?
Well, like, I can spot the body count with like a woman who I'm on a date with, or I'm like dating, because it's just compliance.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, or maybe it's not necessarily even body count, but it's like, I'm obviously the best she's ever had.
Yeah.
Through the level of compliance and agreeableness, I am getting from this woman, is like the level of submission, the level of how feminine that woman is being around me, like tells me everything I need to know. I'm never going to know the exact number, because they're always going to lie about the exact number, and they're going to count different things as a body to what we are.
For sure. They didn't have an orgasm, so it doesn't count.
Right. Or like, they won't count but I'll certainly count you know,
but my favorite, that I was fighting with my boyfriend that day, so it doesn't count.
Right.
Yeah. my favorite of all, and this is absolutely true. Guys, if you don't believe me, go ask one of your female friends, your sister or whatever, if they have a threesome with a couple, does that count as a body? And the number of women that will tell you it doesn't is going to blow your mind. Blow your mind, bro. It doesn't count because it was threesome. I've heard so many women say that to me.
It's mental.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's a crazy one. The thing I was saying before is, how much attention does she need?
Yeah, I've heard you say this. It's a really, like, how much stimulation.
Yeah.
I've heard you say that before.
You said the correct thing. You're never going to know. Yeah. But what I do know is that if you constantly need to go do alcohol, drugs, hang out with the girls, and you don't want me around, that means you need stimulation outside of our relationship. If your primary source of stimulation is us and the animals watching Netflix on the couch, and you want to be curled up next to me, and that's your idea of a dream night, that's probably a girl who's going to have a lower body count because her stimulation comes from inside the relationship she's in. But if it's like, the way I say it is, what is the percentage chance she's going to respond to Chris Brown if he messages her?
Right.
That's it. True. I can almost guarantee you can correlate body count almost entirely to that.
Right.
Yeah. That's
a good little litmus test.
Yeah. If there's a 100% chance she's going to respond to Chris Brown, she probably has a high body count.
Yeah.
If she would be like, no, I have a man, this guy beat up Rihanna, I have higher self-esteem, I'm not going to go out with a dude like that, that's probably a girl with a lower body count.
Another cool little question that I got from Paul Benjamin, Apex Mindset.
Uh-huh.
He said, if you ask a woman, like, to find out roughly what a woman's body count is, you should ask her what body count would be ridiculously unacceptable for a man to have.
Idea. Dude, will you remind me? Let's do that tonight.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
What for a man
to have? What's a ridiculously unacceptable body count for a man to have?
Yeah,
and then hers would be just below that.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's wild. That's such a great idea. So yeah, that's one. And the other one is you had a guy. You did an interview with a guy. He interviewed you. He was a bodybuilder. I forgot what the guy's name is. Good looking dude. Have you noticed this? The guys who have a problem with a lot of the stuff we talk about tend to be really handsome. Yeah, you've seen this before?
I did this interview last week. It hasn't dropped yet, so maybe you're talking about a different one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'll give you an example of this conversation I just had. This guy is like a 10.
Yeah.
Like, he is tall, he is jacked, he's handsome, he's everything. Long hair, like flowing hair. Like, he's rich as I'm like, all right. We were talking about, I said, like, I don't think men should show too much, like, when too much emotion, too much vulnerability. Like, when guys hear the advice, like, show more emotion, be more in touch with your emotions, right? I'm like, this is terrible advice. And he pushed back on me and he was like, yeah, but I had an experience where I, talked with my missus about, the journey I went through emotionally and stuff. And I'm like, cool. Like, but you are not the average guy.
Yeah.
Like when the average, and his example was like, okay, it's not that extreme. It's like he was talking more about like a part of his self-help journey.
Yeah.
Right. But when the average guy hears be in touch with your emotions, be more emotional around your woman, what does he do? He vents all of his insecurities onto her.
Yeah.
It's like for example, I'm really insecure about when you text other men or when you're out with your guy friends. It's like, what is that? Like, that makes him more unattractive and repulsive to her. It doesn't help at all. And so it's really hard for like these guys to kind of grasp.
Whenever I hear, hey, don't post those pictures with women, whenever I hear just be yourself, whenever I hear be more vulnerable,
just be yourself thing. Man, I'm going to call out my friend here, Justin Waller. Yeah. You say this all the time, Justin. Yeah. I've seen you say it all the time. Yeah. Just be yourself, bro. You are not the average man, Justin. You're a handsome, you're super rich, you're super charming, you got all this shit down pat. It's like internalized. Just be yourself is actually terrible advice.
If you're Justin Waller and you play,
you should just be yourself.
And you play Division I college football, and women come after you all the time, and you have an abundance mentality, you should just be yourself for sure. I don't disagree. Even if he wasn't as good looking as he is, he could be himself because Justin Waller has enough stimulus and life experience to where he has an abundance mindset.
Yeah.
But most guys don't have that, and it's always these good looking chads that are giving this terrible dating advice to just go up to a woman, compliment her, and just tell her how you feel. And it's so crazy to me because if you have spent 5 minutes coaching men who are not classically good looking on how to talk to women, and you give them this horrible advice, you quickly realize that this doesn't work. But it's always the good looking guys who have a problem with what I'm saying. Like the stunningly good looking guys who are like, you shouldn't take pictures with women because your girl isn't going to like it. I'm like, yeah, she isn't going to like it. She's still going to sleep with you. Of course, she's not going to like it, but she's still going to have sex with you. You know how many times I've heard a girl be like, I can't stand that you take pictures with all those girls right before they have sex with me. It's crazy. And I stop again, best way to understand women, stop listening to them. Yeah. Best way to understand men, stop listening to them. Just pay attention to their actions. And it's just all the time. And I just noticed it's either older women who really don't like the idea of a sexual marketplace, or it's really good looking guys telling you that this the Justin Baldoni male feminist type that's just telling you this horrible advice about being more vulnerable, be yourself, etc. I have this one clip. I love it. It's this black dude. He's a little bit overweight. And he goes, I just went on a date with a girl and she stood me up and I just want to fall in love and I want to find my person. And he starts crying on the video. And I ask all the girls, I was like, do you feel sorry for this guy? And every one of the girls like, oh my God, I feel sorry for him. I was like, oh, that's terrible. He's super vulnerable. Okay, how many of you want to fuck? Crickets. Crickets. Because his vulnerability did not make him more attractive. And people don't understand that. Your prime directive as a man to be more attractive. And you have to stop listening to what Whoopi Goldberg says. You have to stop listening to Joy Behar. You have to stop listening to some of these. You can't listen to Chris G.Q. Perry. You can't listen to these panderers. You have to actually look at what works scientifically. And it's hard because everyone is pushing against you from believing this concept. And they make up words like toxic masculinity in order to keep you from listening to good advice.
Here's something I want to get your opinion on. I'm going to add to this concept.
Yeah.
You and I both get flack from traditional or conservative Christian types.
Yes.
Right? Who will try to frame sexual attraction in terms of morality.
Yes.
I put it to you that women are not in any way, shape, or form innately attracted to morality, virtue, honor.
Agreed.
All these character traits of what we would consider to be good character traits for a good man. None of that matters diddly squat.
I have to do that in spite of women.
Yes.
I have to be loyal to my guy friends in spite of women. Yeah. You're exactly right. I have to do moral things in my business because I could make more money if I lied.
Right.
But I'm not going to lie. I've got to do moral things in my business in spite of women. Yes, exactly right. Yeah.
I mean, and like the converse of that is, if women were to be attracted to moral, honest, virtuous men, then why do drug dealers get laid?
Yeah.
Why do criminals get laid?
Every hot girl I know has dated a drug dealer. At one time we did this, we had 10 girls around the table. And just so you guys know, I don't have a bunch of sex workers on my show. I know people think that just because they're hot.
Except for me.
Yeah, just you. I look for mothers, married, and I look for master's degrees. And I asked the girls, like, how many of you guys have dated a drug dealer? And they all look around. They're like, all of them raise their hand. Every single one of them. Yeah, it's just one of these things, because that's the risk taker, right? When you're younger. But yeah, you're right. It's not morality. It isn't. It's like there's these attraction triggers that are evolutionary. These are things that aided women in their survival during the Pleistocene epoch. Those are the things that women find attractive today. But when you truly illustrate them, it makes us look like hairless murder apes. Right. It's not good for men. It's like, what do you like about a woman? Well, a hip to waist ratio that looks like she can bear my children. That's really ugly to say out loud. Right. But it's still true. And he's like, okay, what do you like in guys? I look like a guy who looks like he would commit murder for me. That is what you are looking for. It is. The Mongol horde is coming. Having a man to protect you and your child by willing to commit murder because he's got big shoulders and a hunter's eyebrow and he doesn't take shit from anyone and he has facial hair because he has high testosterone, those looks are what you find attractive. It's not because he reads. It's not because oh my God, he's so in touch with his feelings. It's not. It isn't. It's because this guy looks like he could conduct violence. I talk to my clients all the time. I have some clients. The hardest ones are the vegetarian Indian clients. They don't eat enough protein. They have skinny arms and big old guts. And I try to explain to them, I was like, dude, I don't need you to be a bodybuilder. I need you to look dangerous. Can you just look dangerous for me? Can you have a low enough body fat percentage where you look dangerous? That's all I need.
I remember once hearing Andrew Tate mention this. Like it was a live stream, and it was him and Justin Waller on the live stream together, and he's like, you have two options as a man. You can be a super attractive, handsome like this guy right here, or you can look like a killer.
Yes.
Like a good example is my friend Luke Barnett. I don't know if you know what he looks like, but he's got like the Neanderthal like eyebrow ridge, like super successful UFC fighter, like not an objectively handsome guy. Now he is like 6'3" and he's dangerous, but he's dangerous looking. And it's like you can find countless examples of like dudes who are really not classic. They would not be runway models. They would not be billboard models, but they're surrounded with women and they have no problem getting women because they look like a who can kill you.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I know that seems overly simplistic, but the thing is, it's like if you were to explain to women, hey, you find these guys attractive because they look like they could commit murder on your behalf. The women are like, no, I just look for good energy. I want a guy with good vibes and good energy. And I'm like, that isn't, I just don't know how I can show you photos of your last 5 boyfriends.
Right.
You're just lying. Like, why can't you just admit this is what you like? And it's so difficult for them to grasp that.
I mean, this also taps into why women like rough sex.
Yeah, of course. I mean, of course.
It subcommunicates that same thing.
Yeah.
That same concept of, oh, this guy is capable of violence.
Yeah.
You know? And that's a conversation people
he's bigger and stronger than me. Nobody wants to have this conversation.
No one wants to talk about that. Yeah. That's for damn sure. Yeah.
It's tough. And the problem is people are going to listen to this and be like, who hurt you, bro? Or like something like that. And it's like, I guess I don't understand how you can see like the thousands of girls who follow me online and the girls that I've dated. And I'm like, you keep thinking I'm wrong, but like I keep proving that I'm right. And I feel like Galileo explaining to the Pope that the earth goes around the sun and then the Pope putting him on house arrest. Like, it's like, I don't know. I just don't understand. Like, how do I have 4,000 clients, but you still think what I'm saying is misogynistic? Well, if something is true, it can't be misogynistic. If what I'm teaching you is attraction triggers and you don't like where it's going, it's not because I'm manipulating people. It's because they work and you don't want to believe in evolutionary psychology. That's the only issue here.
Well, they can't admit that they're wrong.
Well, they can't admit they're wrong, but it puts them in a bad light.
Yeah,
because we look like hairless murder apes. That's what it makes us look like, because we are. Like, that's the problem. But it doesn't mean you can't fall in love with someone. It just means initially you're looking for a fat. That's just what it is. Initially, she was looking for a guy who could provide for her. And then maybe she fell in love with him because he maintained his boundaries. I do want to talk about testosterone and estrogen. And when you talk about DHT, you go into that, like some of the discussions you've had.
Yeah, I mean, like people always sort of contribute all these like hyper masculine traits, not just like physical traits, but like personality traits. They contribute it primarily to testosterone.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is actually more to do with DHT.
Yeah.
Like DHT is the molecule, is like kind of like the miracle molecule for like a guy's mental health in a way, because it's the one that does like, it's the one that makes you like calm under stressful situations.
Yeah.
It's the one that makes you more assertive. It's the one that makes you like more confident in your decisions. So DHT is actually like, I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to do like a blood test study of like male stars.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee they would have high levels of DHT.
Yeah.
Because they don't get performance anxiety. When there's a room full of cameras staring at their dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're calm.
The DHT one I've never heard, but there are studies that show like men with upper body grip strength are more likely to cheat, like stuff like that.
Right.
There's studies that show that men who get bullied in high school have fewer sexual partners. Men who bully in high school have more sexual partners. There is a bunch of studies on testosterone serum. Higher grip strength means you're less likely to vote for wealth redistribution. You're more likely to vote Republican. If you have higher up. Look it up. If you guys think I'm making any of this up, there's tons of data on this. And then you kind of think about it and you're like, yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah.
The other cool thing is that like we talk about in evolutionary psychology the concept of like costly signals,
yes,
which are honest signals.
That throwing money in the air, so the peacock's tail.
Exactly.
Like going to the club and throwing money in the air while I'm wearing a $900,000 watch.
Right. Testosterone is a costly signal.
Yeah, because it's a toxin.
Because it impedes your immune system.
Yeah.
It compromises your immune system. So if I've got, facial hair, chiseled jaw, strong upper body strength, all these things that are associated with high testosterone, it implies that I'm able to have those in spite of having a compromised immune system.
Yeah.
So it's an honest signal that women can look at and know I'm not lying about it.
Yeah. You take the like excessive levels of testosterone or anabolics, it does shorten your life.
Yeah.
But you have to think about it from an evolutionary standpoint. We weren't living past 30. So it's like the fact that you didn't make it, you made it to 70 and not 80, wasn't something that women really cared for. Because when you're 70, you're not having any more kids. It's like the evolution. Evolutionary psychology only works up to the point where you have children. Everything past that point, it's like, I'm not saying you're going to die, but it's like evolution doesn't affect those things because you can't have any more. It's really hard for people to understand. The way evolution works is mutation is addition and then death is subtraction. And so you say, okay, what are the things that cause the mutation? Well, I have a child with another woman, and then we have a child that has certain immunities to certain antibodies and doesn't have the other ones or whatever. So that's the mutation. And then, but because of that, then she's more susceptible to this disease and then she dies. So that's the deletion. Yeah. And so you explain that, and that you just do that over and over again for 50,000 generations. And then you end up with Homo sapiens. And so a lot of people have a hard time with that. But like the testosterone thing is really interesting because this is the other part, the estrogen. Right? The estrogens in our perfumes, plastics, the estrogens that are in the water. People don't understand estrogen is not it's not a bacteria.
Yeah.
You can't boil it out of water. It's a molecule, and the massive levels of estrogen. And then estrogen, if you talk about a woman who has a lot of estrogen, let's say she's pregnant, she's less likely to go rock climbing. Estrogen is a not take risk hormone.
Right.
Testosterone is a take risk hormone.
Yep.
And so now you're starting to feminize men so they take fewer risks. And you end up in the situation where we have right now, where you have these men with lower and lower testosterone levels.
Oh, totally. Have you ever seen, there's a really interesting old newspaper article snippet. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I think it was by Ernest Shackleton, who did like an Arctic, I think it was an Arctic exhibition. And the ad in the paper it reads something like almost certain death, like harrowing like circumstances. Yeah. And it's like, in unlikely event of success, like glory ensues. It's something to this effect. I'm obviously butchering it. And like something like 5,000 men applied for the job, for the gig. It's like, and now would you get that many people applying for that job now? I don't think we would. Yeah. And it's a clear indication of the decline in that risk taking behavior. Like I said. Also, from my understanding, when women have excessive amounts of estrogen, they have a higher rate of breast cancer too, I believe. So it's bad for both men and women. Yeah. This constant inoculation of like plasticizers, estradiol, different kinds of like atrazine, like different kinds of pesticides and herbicides that you have, especially here in America. Yeah, you're just constantly bombarded with this, and it's, as a guy, you're kind of like on the back foot from day one because you're just constantly being exposed to this shit. Unless you're living on top of a mountain somewhere, in total isolation, you're going to be bombarded with this crap. Like your underpants is just like you're nuking your balls with plastic by wearing plastic underwear. That's wild. Like it's when you read that book, Estrogeneration by Anthony J, it's scary, man. You just like,
in the end, he does
give solutions.
He gives solutions. One of them is TRT. He actually talks about it at the end of the book. And here's the thing: I thought this for a while, that they're going to start making exogenous testosterone either highly controlled or illegal pretty soon, because it's how we can fight this like having a lower testosterone populace is easier to control.
Yes.
They're not going to revolt. They're going to do what you tell them.
Oh yeah.
Having a higher testosterone population is difficult to control them. And so I think what you're going to see, there's just, you're in your 40s, I'm in my 40s. We're not supposed, like, do you remember Archie Bunker from All in the Family? Maybe you didn't see this in Australia. No. There's a show called Archie Bunker. This guy's like a huge bigot. He's like when he starts the show, the day they film the show, he's 47 years old. I'm 47 years old. This guy's 50 pounds heavier than me. He's on the brink of death from the first episode. He looks so old. And what's happened is 47 used to be checking out of the dating marketplace, old and fat. And because of TRT, now 47 is just like, I'm now the richest and strongest I've ever been in my life. Plus, I've seen all the defenses before, so I know how to check out of, I know how to audible, and now I have the experience. And now the most dangerous men in the world are in their 50s, and that wasn't supposed to happen. And I think what's happening now, you're prolonging this alpha male existence from your 20s to your 50s. That wasn't supposed, your 60s. And so I could actually see the left really trying to control testosterone in the beginning. But the only reason why they're not going to completely control it is because then you can't have transitions.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's why testosterone is still going to be available. But I think it's just kind of an interesting thing where I think you're going to start seeing the left like really trying to hinder TRT.
I mean, people always talk about like America turning into a civil war.
Yeah.
The number of people who tweeted that after Charlie Kirk's assassination, and like you've seen this again and again and again and again. It ain't happening for that exact reason you just said. Like the risk taking edge of men has been weaned out of them.
And so here's the number one difference. You saw that UK good show, but it was a piece of propaganda. Adolescence.
Yes,
did you see that?
I didn't watch it out of spite, but I know what you're talking about.
By the way, terrific show, but complete. It won best series. But complete propaganda.
Yes.
So just for you guys who don't know, if you watch the show, it's a middle-class white kid who stabs his classmate because she rejected him, and she stabbed him, or he stabbed her because specifically he listened to the 80-20 rule in Andrew Tate, specifically red pill manosphere content. So just take a second, take whatever AI model you want and do a deep research. Is there any example in the UK of an Anglo middle-class kid listening to red pill content and then stabbing a classmate? And of course, the answer is zero. It has never happened. Adolescence is total fiction. And even though it's fiction, the parliament in the UK called the creator to Congress, to parliament, to testify. Yeah. Remember, this is fiction. It's like watching the creators of Independence Day to bring them in to talk about aliens to the government. It's fiction. It didn't happen. And so because of this, the fiction that happens on the show, William Costello, who's at the University of Texas at Austin, he's a PhD candidate under David Buss. He does a study called Why Isn't There More Incel Violence? And what they found is it's pornography, it's sedations like pornography, and sedations like video games, and sedations like social media that are causing these men, this almost like this men that are left behind in the sexual marketplace. Why aren't they more angry? Why aren't they more violent? And the answer is because of all the sedations they have. So it's not happen. So what you said before about the risk taking, we're not going to have a civil war because Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out.
Right.
That's why it's not going to happen. And so I definitely agree with what you're saying, but again, I just want to say this again because I got thrown. The London Times did an article about me, and they lied about everything in the article. Actually, they didn't lie. They took an excerpt from a book, and the author of the book made everything up. And the thing is, they only did the article because Andrew Tate is mentioned in Adolescence. I have a photo with Andrew Tate. The guy who wrote the book went on one of my boot camps, and so it made it so that the editor could somehow connect his like worthless book to Adolescence and make him more relevant, and so he just made a bunch of shit up.
Got it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing I've said before. There's nothing that shows that red pill or manosphere content is making men more violent.
Oh, completely.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's designed to do the opposite.
Yes.
It's literally designed to save men's lives.
Correct. Agreed.
Like it's designed to stop that guy from being bitter and resentful towards women.
The bodybuilder you were doing the show with, he was talking about the green pill or like what he thought the red pill was. Do you remember
right.
this?
Now I know who you're talking about. Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
But like when he described the red pill, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like nobody on this side of the aisle is like, hey, you know what, guys, you're victims. No, I have never heard that one time. Do we victim blame? I don't blame women for any of this. I don't think any of it's bad. I think society has created a really strange equation that we have to work through, but it's no one's fault except Charles Darwin's. Like, I don't think I don't have any problem with this at all. And when he was describing what he thought the red pill was, I couldn't think of a single person that thought that way.
Right.
It's like he had such a bastardized view of it. And then he was like, I disagree with it. I'm like, dude, you're like a male model bodybuilder sitting there telling men to just be themselves and have a more genuine connection. What the bro? It's crazy. Like, know your privilege. It was nuts, man. I wanted to debate the guy. So respectfully.
I can set that up if you like.
Yeah, respectfully, but like, what you guys talk about a green pill?
He talks about the green pill.
The green pill is what?
I'm not exactly sure how Elliot would define the green pill.
Yeah.
I guess he would just say it's in opposition to the red pill. In opposition to what he perceives as the red pill.
So I looked that up, and basically it is, they still believe in evolutionary psychology, but it's like, we don't blame anyone. I'm like, no, then you're just describing the red pill. You just don't like. What happened is red pill content creators got really popular really fast. A lot of people got jealous. Then all the red pill content creators got ratioed, and they're like, haha, see, you guys were wrong. That's why you don't have any followers anymore. It's like, no, it's because your liberal big tech organizations ratioed all of us. Yeah. This is why you will guys notice, look at the women panderers on TikTok. They have 1 million followers. And then look at them on YouTube. They get 100 views a video. YouTube does not reward you for pandering to women. TikTok only rewards you for that. Notice, just like pick any content creator and notice how Shira7 does incredibly well on TikTok, but not so well on YouTube. You'll see that. And then you'll see the guys who don't pander to women, they crush it on YouTube, but then because they're doing male self-help, they get no views on TikTok. That's why. It's not because the content was wrong. It's because the platforms ratioed us.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the main thing. One of the things I really did enjoy you talking about was the boss babe lie and how you realized that from being a male escort. That's how you figured that out.
Completely, bro. Like, yeah. Because a lot of my clients, when I was a male escort, they were that boss, literally the boss babe archetype. They either had their own business or they were in upper management, and they're like, it's just same story again and again. She's in her like mid-30s and she can't find a guy to date. That's why she would pay a guy like me to take her out on a dinner date for an evening, give her the attention she's been looking, like make her feel sexy again, make her feel wanted again. That was the whole job. Giving her undivided attention and making her feel sexy again. Because she can't, despite doing everything that she was told to do, despite getting the degree, getting the good job, climbing the corporate ladder, sacrificing her femininity on the altar of the corporate world, she didn't end up with the guy she was looking for in the end. as Rollo puts it, she became the man she was
She
trying
wanted
to
to date.
attract. Yeah, and it was like I have to admit it, man. It was like kind of tragic. Like,
Yeah.
you know, in the moment, I'm never like expressing that, but you know, later on, reflecting back on it, I'm like, man, I feel sorry.
Again, you as a male escort, a woman is paying you, and you realize the reason why she has to is because she believed a lie that she was fed,
and she can't find like the guy that she wants to date, who maybe who's her like equal at the law firm, is dating the secretary.
Yeah. He's dating this 20-year-old, and she's like, I don't understand why. And it's like, because what made her valuable to him sexually was innocence. What was a lack of experience.
Yep.
You know, I've said this before, man. I get in a lot of trouble for this. Men need experience with women to get better at dating. Women do not need experience with men to get better at dating. You just need a couple of guy friends or a male relative to tell you, this dude is a crypto scammer. This guy over here is an NFT scammer. This guy right here is a drug dealer. This guy right here is a DJ who's going to cheat on you. Right. It's real simple. You don't need experience with men to understand men. As men, we need experience with women because everything we're told is wrong.
Do you think a lot of women reject, like, because a lot of women will probably have a guy, like an orbiter specifically, in their social circle who will be like, don't date him, he's a piece of shit.
No, so here's
and then they'll end up dating him anyway.
Yeah, here's what you need to do. You need to find a guy who's a complete slut.
Yes.
You need to find women.
He will be honest.
Women need to find a guy who's having sex with so many other women. He's like friends with you because he just doesn't. His dick is too tired. He just doesn't have time to hook up with you. Like literally, he has so many women on lock that he legitimately is your friend because he just can't even work up the energy to try to hit on you. That guy. Then ask him for advice and he'll tell you the truth. He's completely not dissolute because he understands the male-female dynamic. And then when the guy's gaslighting her, he's like, oh yeah, that's what I say to chicks. Like he's gaslighting you like really quick. You know what I'm saying? It's super easy. Just find a guy like that. It's really easy, and and then just don't sleep with him, and then you'll be fine. Now the problem is you're going to end up sleeping with him because that's always what ends up happening when you friend zone girls, and then you don't hit on them. That's the thing that always ends up working out. One thing I do want to talk about, I talked about so I'm going to make a video on this. There's data that's come out that basically shows with mate choice copying that mate choice copying tends to be more effective with younger women, and it tends to be more effective on women who have lower body counts. And the term they use is sociosexuality, meaning very promiscuous versus very restrictive sexuality. And a lot of guys have a hard time with this because they look at my social circle stuff and they think, oh, you only get sluts. I'm like, actually, if you were to look at my dating history, it's like my last two girlfriends, like one of them got married when she was super young, got divorced when she was like 26. And then I was like the second guy she ever been with. And then the other girl, like she had a boyfriend in high school. And then I started dating her when she was 20. So it's like, what I found is that mate choice copying actually, or pre-selection actually is more effective on women who have had fewer bodies.
Yeah.
Now, you probably have gotten this before because you would be in the sociosexual group. I would too. I'm just gonna be honest. And so the belief is from the blue pill people is that the only women who would ever sleep with us are sluts.
Oh, man.
Do you understand?
I get that comment.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
Every single comment that's like a hater. It's
you
always
saw Sadia Khan came after me and said that every woman I talk to is cheating on me, that they're all liberal sexuality. And I was like, woman, you're the one, you have a higher body count than any woman I've dated. Like, that's crazy. Go ahead.
How the turntables.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's I get that critique so consistently. Like the only woman that this guy could, it's not even that, like, it's the only woman that would find this man attractive would be a slut.
Yes. Unhealed.
Exactly.
They're unhealed.
They're damaged women.
Yes.
Let's go over like the last few women I've dated. Currently she's I think she's had like one other boyfriend her entire life. Quiet, like librarian type. Before that, like great cook, Catholic, no background to that. Before that, literally Catholic, daughter of a preacher.
Yes.
No like bugger all body count. Well, before that, Muslim woman, no body count. Goes to the church, like goes to mosque all the time. Like it's like a consistent like pattern.
Yeah,
and they're all young.
Yeah,
and it's like, sure, you tell me what my dating life is.
Right,
like.
sure.
Sure.
They can't conceive of this because what they were told, especially if you come from like a highly homogenous society, you were told to go to this school. Right. Go to the country club on Sunday, wear the polo shirt to meet the good girl.
Right.
Get the master's degree. You'll get the good girl. Go to church on the Wednesday singles group, and then you'll find the good. No, you're finding the reform star on Wednesdays. That's who you're finding. at the church, and they don't grasp this. So here's the example I like to use. As men, we all thought Margot Robbie was hot in Wolf of Wall Street. All of us. I don't care if you're black, white, whatever. She was hot as shit in that movie. Selma Hayek in Dusk Till Dawn was super hot in that movie. Okay, those are the examples I use. Is it the slutty men who thought that Selma or that Margot Robbie was hot, and then the virgin men didn't think she was hot, or did all men think she was hot? So what I'm trying to express to you is that there are certain attraction triggers that are ubiquitous for sociosexual and restrictive individuals. For the guys who don't understand what you and I are expressing, because I have friends that are male strippers and they're dating an accountant who has like a 2 body count. And I'm like, guys don't conceive of this. It's not that the attraction triggers that we use are only attractive to good girls or bad girls. Attraction triggers are ubiquitous amongst all women. There's no good girl attraction. There's no bad girl attraction. There's only attraction. And I'm sure you get this, and I get this all the time, hyper judgmental guys who come to us and be like, I don't want these girls because they're sluts. And I'm like, bro, nobody likes you. No one thinks you're attractive.
You wouldn't get the slut even if you tried.
It's like, I don't want to be considered a boy or a player. I'm like, you should be lucky if you were considered a boy or a player, because that means for the first time in your life, a girl actually thought other women wanted to have sex with you. It's like, I heard this one girl be like, I don't like players. They come off as gay. I'm like, did you not hear what you just said? Like, they're players. That means they have sex with women. You're not listen to yourself. And it was just like, it's the craziest thing. I'm going to tell you definitively, you can choose to not believe me, or you can actually look up the data for yourself. If you're a dude and you're good at getting women, period, you can get very, very restrictive women who are very young and very attractive. If you want very selective women who are super attractive and tend to be like under 30, under 25, then having them know that other women find you attractive is probably the single most effective way of you getting those women to be attracted to you. So social circle doesn't just get you sluts. If you want sluts, you want to know what I think you should do? Direct cold approach pickup. Because now I'm touching a woman that I've never met before. Imagine if you had a daughter and some guy came up and just started touching her and she slept with him. You'd be like, why is my daughter a dude who just touched her in a club? That's creepy. So you go up to a club, you go up to a girl, be like, you're hot, touch her, keno escalate. And then the girl has sex with you. That's not game. You just picked a girl with a 600 body count. That's all that happened. You just picked a slutty woman. So do cold approach. Go up and be yourself. Give her a compliment and then touch the girl. If she sleeps with you, you just found a slutty woman. If you do what I do, what do I do? I create social circle events, and then women introduce me to other women, and they were already vouching for me. And now these women who don't have a ton of experience with men are like, well, I see my female friends vouching for Michael, so now I feel attraction. That's how it works. I don't know why this is the single thing I have to argue with guys the most. And it tends to be my Asian clients, my Indian clients, my German clients, very homogenous societies. Everyone cares about what everyone thinks about them. Not so much my Australian clients, none of my black clients, none of my Hispanic clients. They don't have this problem. It's my Mormon clients, yes. It's the ones that like, I only care what people think about me. 2nd generation Korean clients. Mom and dad tell me where to go to school. Those guys have the hardest time understanding. They think that they need to go get this master's degree, and then they earn a good girl. 1 free sex, 1 free wife, got a master's degree. They don't understand. It's like, no, dude. The things that I do to attract women when I'm hosting a bikini competition, your dream girl is going to be into me before she's into you. And you have so much dissonance when it comes to this until you try it and you're like, holy shit, it's right. It's like, there's not good girl attraction triggers or bad girl attraction triggers. There's just attraction.
Completely. I mean, I'm a pretty good example of this, bro. I mean, like, I was literally.
I use you as an example all the time. You were a male star, and you're like, you have women who are like, have super low body counts chasing you off the time. I use you as an example all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
But because it's the ultimate like test of your point is like, you would think that my background would put these women off.
Yeah.
You would, these men, especially these blue pill guys, be like, surely once they find out, because maybe they don't initially know that was my background. Surely, once they find out he did, and he was a male escort or whatever, like, oh, all the attraction is ruined. It has made precisely zero difference to my dating life.
Yeah.
It has never affected it at all.
Yeah.
They barely even mention it. It's staggering.
Yeah. Because it's how it's the feeling you project in them when they're sitting there in front of you, your presence. Yeah. That's all that matters, is how they feel in that moment. That's why every hot girl I know has dated the drug dealer.
Right.
Because they don't care about where the money came from. And they like, it's how you make them feel in that moment. And it's just so wild to me when I hear, like you said before, these are unhealed women. I'm like, no, it's every woman. Now, does the mate choice copying stuff also get you sluts? Yeah, I mean, enjoy some sluts, whatever. Like, we've all done that before. Like, you have you and your girlfriend, and you want to bring a girl home, whatever. It doesn't matter. My point is, I'm not settling down with a woman who needs a ton of stimulus in order to be happy. I'm just not interested in that. I'm interested in settling down with a woman where her idea of an incredible night is us watching an awesome TV show while she's wrapped up around me in her onesie, and the only thing she wants is me to touch her. That makes her happier than any. That's the woman I want. If you think that's misogynistic, enjoy your unsuccessful marriage. Yeah. That's how it should work. She should want her man to touch her. Okay? He shouldn't have to use money to make her attracted. That's what you should do. And so it's so difficult because you have these guys that'll argue with you and you're like, no, that's only Michael. I want to settle down. I don't want these party girls. I'm like, I don't want a party girl either. But you're confused because you see attractive women. Here's another one. Guys who see attractive women and immediately think they're all sluts.
Right.
You have this before?
Yeah.
So I host bikini competitions. When I host, so let's say you go to a club and you see the slutty girl who's like trying to get a sugar daddy, and she's got big tits, and she's in this tight dress, and she has all this makeup on. And then you go to the bikini competition or the NPC Pro, whatever the competition, and the girls, they get up at 6:30 in the morning. They're a surgical nurse. They work out all the time. They've had one boyfriend in their entire life. They're super accomplished. The problem is they look the same. Do you understand? They both have tiny waists and big boobs. So you're just like, oh, this girl, every girl here that's really hot, she must be a slut because I saw this girl who looks like and they can't tell the difference. I'm like, no, that girl is not a slut. That girl's going to school. That girl's not a slut, but they just see attractive. And when they see attractive, all they think is slut. And that judgmental attitude is so unattractive to women, and it just screws them up.
Oh man, that's when I was like in my 20s, that was the first thing that I learned in regards to like attracting women was just don't be judgmental. Because the guy who was gonna sit there and like morally pontificate about like a woman's past, he's never going home with her. Like even if I'm talking to a girl and she actually is a slut and I know she's a slut, I'm never gonna tell her that I know that.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna judge her for it. Because if I do, I'm not gonna like
I might push it a little further. I'm like, yeah, I mean, obviously that's why you brother, because he made you mad. I get it totally. Yeah.
You just play with it, man. I think there's nothing more like there's a certain like being a guy who doesn't kiss and tell, being the guy who's non-judgmental is incredibly attractive because it implies that the average guy's like wondering, oh, why won't these women do all that nasty kinky shit with me?
Yeah.
It's because she thinks you're going to judge her for it. She does it all with me because she knows I ain't judging her for it.
So, have you ever had a girl talk about her boyfriend the entire night and then at the end of the night try to sleep with you?
Oh, yeah.
And why is it? It's because she can tell you're not judgmental.
Yeah.
It's the wildest thing ever. She'll complain about her boyfriend the whole time. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And you're just listening to her. And the next, she's like taking her clothes off. I'm like, what is happening here? The reason why is because the feeling you've projected. By the way, you should never do this. Never sleep with someone who has a boyfriend. I'm saying this officially, okay? Because we would never do that. Never. But the thing is, you're projecting this feeling in her, and she feels this attraction, and nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. She'll stay by her man who goes to jail with the tattoos on his face, and like she doesn't care. She just whatever. She'll be loyal to this dude because he makes her feel some kind of way. Yep. And that's the part guys don't understand, and they're like hyper judgmental. Don't be judgmental. I don't know that you need to 50 women in order to understand women, but you need 50 women to want to you. It's hard for guys to grasp it. How do you get them to want to? You have to understand attraction triggers in women that work. For mine, it's relevancy, competency, access to scarce resources, locations, networks, humor, charisma, pre-selection, and social proof. What are those attraction triggers? They're the ones that don't include money, looks, drugs, or alcohol. So stay away from money, looks, drugs, and alcohol. What are the ones left that I can fix? I can't make you taller. I can't change your eye color, but I can make you look more relevant, more competent, and give you a cooler social circle. I can give you pre-selection. I can give you social proof. I can teach you to be funny, and I can teach you to be charismatic. I can teach you those things, but I can't teach you to be taller. So like, that's why those are the attraction triggers I teach. And then when you do so, you don't find that it's the sluts that find you attractive. It's all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're winning. How do you know? It's when your ex texts you, I don't like what you posted. Your ex, wait, didn't you cheat on me and leave me and you don't like what I've posted? This bothers you? It didn't bother you before. Or it's the girl like, oh, you posted pictures with all these girls. Hey, you know what? You would have never noticed me if I didn't post these pictures. That's my favorite is the model. It's the female model who's like, these guys that post pictures with these girls. I'm like, you would have never noticed these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You're proving my point for me. It's just so wild, bro. I want to talk about, this is a big one. Stoicism. So I tried to read Marcus Aurelius the first time and I didn't get it. And then
I found it better as an audiobook.
Yeah.
It's meant to be spoken word.
Yes, exactly. So I listened to it and I didn't get it the first time. And then, I listened to I'm friends with Wes Watson. He talked about when he was in jail, he read that book, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. He read that over and over again. Then I read Jocko Willink, Extreme Ownership and Dichotomy of Leadership. And he talks about the concept of good, meaning my wife just left me. Good. My company just made $5 million extra. Good. Like no matter what, good. It's like either the world is rewarding me or the world is providing me with a challenge that I get to overcome, not got to overcome. Then I went back and listened to Marcus Aurelius and I was like, now this all makes sense. I think I've heard you discuss Stoicism before and how incredibly important it is that we go to work when we don't feel like it. We don't complain about it. I use the example of someone's coming to rescue your firefighters are coming to rescue your family out of a burning house. Do you want them to cry to you about how rough their day was? Or do you want them to look serious on their face and just go do their job? And so I was just wondering if you could talk about the concept of Stoicism, congruence, and presence.
Yeah, well, I look at congruence as thoughts, words, and actions being in alignment.
Yeah.
But to rewind a little bit and talk about, Stoicism, I guess. I look at it as like just having control of your emotions and not being like a good visual analogy is like a tree like an old oak tree that's like rooted into the ground, like it can take all the battering it needs and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I look at that as like a nice analogy for Stoicism versus like, let's say the leaf that gets blown off that oak tree, every tiny little change in air pressure and wind, its direction is moving all over the place. So that's, you can kind of look as a guy, look at the way you respond to emotions that way.
Yeah.
I always like to look at it like there's external stimulus from the world comes at you. And there's a moment in time where you get to decide what filter you put that through before you react to it.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't, you have to insert this filter in between those two things. Most people, it's like stimulus from the outside world, emotional response to that stimulus. Something good happened, I feel happy. Something bad happened, I feel bad. But there's a split second moment where you can insert a filter in between that. And that filter is what does this mean?
So
right?
What do you do? So I define it as like presence, almost like Eckhart Tolle. Like I get it in this moment, choose to like just be still and just accept it. And I use the term not controlling my emotions, but controlling my behavior.
Right.
The emotion is the stimulus. Because like the thing is, I had a pretty good upbringing. So the traumas that I went through in my life, being a cisgendered heterosexual kid who played high school football and joined the military in Texas, everyone included me. Like no one had a problem with me playing high school football, eating red meat, shooting guns, and living in Texas. Like I understand other people went through harder childhoods than me. And because of that, the emotional reaction that I have is not that desperate. But like if somebody went through some serious trauma because they were in like foster care or something like that, they're going to feel emotions and they're not going to be able to control the emotions. But what Stoicism is controlling how you react.
Yeah.
And what you talk about, the filter you choose, and the filter I like to choose is the Jocko Willink one. Good.
Yeah.
Like no matter what happens, it's good. It's either the world is rewarding me or the world is giving me weights to deadlift so that I can get stronger. You go into a weight room, just understand those weights that you have to lift are a gift. You lift those weights to get stronger. If those weights didn't exist, if there was no gravity, you wouldn't be able to get stronger. So the fact that your company didn't make any money this week is a gift for you to figure out, dude, we have expenses we need to get rid of. It's the world giving you a gift to overcome. And so to me, that's what Stoicism is. It's when things go bad, good. And when things go good, good. Yeah.
I look at the filter I use is like, everything's a lesson.
Yes.
Right. So if my business didn't do too well or this thing screwed up, what is the world teaching me? What is the lesson I'm going to learn from this?
Yeah.
So that to either prevent that from happening next time or have a better outcome next time.
Yeah.
It's always a lesson. It's a lesson because I look at life as like, a search for like the truth in everything.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what is the best way to make money? What is the best way
Sure.
to attract women? What is the best way to get fit or lose body fat
Well,
or whatever?
I think you and I have a burden because we're not male models.
Right.
So because of that,
Excuse me.
yeah.
What?
I think you and I, because we have a burden, that's why you're always trying to optimize for best way to make money, best way to be in shape, all those kind of things. If you're privileged enough, you don't optimize. If you're good looking enough, you don't optimize. If you're beautiful enough, you don't optimize. If you're born in a trust fund, you don't need to optimize. But you and I, we understand, like you understand as well as I do, if we got married and we lost our jobs, our wives are probably going to leave us, right? Maybe, maybe not. But like the likelihood is higher if I don't provide and still continue to give her the feelings I did when I first met her. If you read the data on marriage, one of the top precipitators of divorce, man losing his job. So if I understand that reality, then that means I know I have to perform because I'm not special. I'm just a man. It's very easy to become a useless, forgotten man. Very easy. It's very difficult to be an attractive woman who's forgotten. It doesn't happen as often. For a man, in order for me to have sexual intercourse, I have to take risks. For a woman to have sexual intercourse, she has to do nothing. And so that's the difference. That's the big difference. She has to show up. That's why throughout history, 40% of men and 80% of women have reproduced. Men have to, there's 60% of men who didn't take enough chances or didn't succeed in the risk that they took in order to have any sexual access. And so that's what a lot of guys don't understand. So going back to your point before, it's like your job, you optimize for the best way to lift or the best way to make money or all those different kind of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Keep going.
And you mentioned the idea of congruency, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of how I like to teach guys about what women perceive as creepy versus not creepy.
Yeah.
Because when a guy guys hear the word creepy, especially if they're not socialized like you, they don't have female friends around them.
Yeah.
It's hard for them to kind of because two men will do the exact same thing. They'll say the exact same thing to a woman, whereas when one guy's creepy and the other guy's not. And the average guy's like, what the does that mean? How do I define what creepy is?
Yeah.
And that's why I like this concept of congruency. Like his thoughts, his words, and his actions are in alignment.
Yeah.
And this is why maybe because you touched a second ago about like talking about like cold approach pickup and stuff like this, right? Like going up to a woman and saying hi and being honest or whatever, telling her what you're feeling and stuff like that.
You're really attractive. I want to get to know you.
Right.
Like, God, bro.
You might disagree with this, but this is something I teach guys to be more congruent. And it's, if a guy is feeling nervous, say a guy's like out at the supermarket, whatever, he's just doing going about his regular day, right? And he sees a pretty woman. I would rather, and if he's feeling nervous, right? This is particularly for guys who are feeling nervous. I actually want that guy to go up to that woman and say, hey, this is kind of crazy. Like, I would be kicking myself for the rest of the day if I didn't say hi.
Sure.
Because it's congruent. Like, rather than him going up and saying pretending to be confident.
Yes.
If you're actually feeling nervous, I would rather you go up and call it out because you're going to irrespective of if that works.
Yeah.
You're going to learn to interact without needing an outcome.
Sure.
And you're going to learn to interact congruently.
Yes.
Which is, forget about whether that approach succeeds. The skill you want to learn is to be congruent.
The lack of outcome for sure. But at the same time, though, most women do not find most men attractive, and going up and expressing that you have intent. For me, the whole thing to me is intent. It's not about I could go up and girl and tell her that she's pretty. I'm not afraid to do that. Yeah. The difference is my intent should be worth something because hers is. It's like you think about all the work you have to do to get a woman to have intent to want to have sex with you. All the work you had to put in. But me, I'm just a worthless dude. And just because you have big tits, I'm going to give you my intent. No, my intent is not worthless. You have to work for it. That's the reason. It's not, you're completely right about the congruent stuff. What I like is what you said before is like just the 75-year-old woman be like, you look beautiful today, honey. You know, like go and give compliments to women that you're not attracted to. I do this all the time, by the way. But women I am attracted to, I'm gonna talk about something they did, or I'm gonna invite them to an event or something like that, or just share an inside joke with them. But I'm never gonna tell them how hot they are.
I agree with that. Yeah. With that idea of complimenting like old women and fat women.
Yes,
because you want to I think most guys are even if they're learning, social circle game, they still probably come to you with a degree of they're not really able to be charismatic or communicate properly. Like they don't have social skills. Well, how do you learn that? So how do you teach a guy to not associate talking to women with fear and like anxiety?
Yeah.
Or I think this is a pretty good way. Talk to old women, ugly women, women you don't have any attraction to whatsoever, and make their day, because all you're doing is subconsciously associating good feelings with talking to women.
Yes.
And you're tricking your own brain.
Yeah, you're also not acting different because of how they look.
Yes.
And that's a big one. Like I'm telling you right now, I've had women go home with me just because I was the first guy to not look at their boobs. They've never had a guy I never face them with another thing. I don't turn my pelvis towards them. I'm always off to a distance. I'm looking at them like this. I give them a high five. I never, no matter how much they push their boobs together, I just never glance down. I just don't do it. And it's just, and I've had a remark before. It's like, you're the first guy to do that. Like I truly didn't know if I had a shot with you. I was like, when she felt that pang, it's like, wow, this is the first guy. I got to work for his validation. That was such a huge thing. But how is it? It's because I go up and compliment women who I'm not attracted to as well, and I treat them all the same. I treat them like dudes.
Yeah,
and that is like that is a huge deal. Can you talk about this? I'm sure you probably get this in the comments. The male feminist who comes in there and leaves the white knight comments, and he truly thinks that it's going to work for him to like get the girl.
Just being a white knight.
Yeah.
Has that ever worked for anyone ever?
Ever? Never.
Ever?
Never.
Like
do you get a lot of it?
Saw it.
Do you get a lot of it?
I actually don't get as much as you'd think.
Yeah.
Probably more. It's more like if a tweet goes viral.
Yeah.
I get it. No, I get it on Facebook quite a lot.
I get it when I go on other people's podcasts and their audience is not used to my content.
Yeah.
That's when I get the white knight jumping in. I would never have sex with a girl, multiple women. That's gross. I only want sex with my wife that I love so much. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up.
Like, is she reading this?
Like,
Why
are you
seriously,
bro? Like, I want to grab them by the collar and be like, she'll never have sex with you, bro. No matter what you say, they'll never. And by the way, they'll like, oh my God, thank you for saying this. Yes, my man was a narcissist. Yes, they'll thank you for saying it. They're never gonna have sex with you. They'll pity you
because they know they're gonna like that. That behavior is positively reinforced by other people, like approving of their opinion.
Yeah,
like, and that's a very feminine trait, to seek the approval of the crowd.
Yeah, I think that's how people like Derek Jackson or Chris G.Q. Perry or Will Hitchens or Justin Baldoni, these are male feminists that are online who every piece of content they make, it's like they never held women accountable. It's always men's fault. And I realized what happened was they had probably been friend zoned by a woman and they wanted to feel included. So they made some content that they knew women would agree with. They got a ton of likes. And then after they got all these likes, they were like, okay, I'm going to keep making content like this. They do it over and over again. And then they're just like, why do women, none of them want to sleep with me though? Like, I don't understand why. It's because what you've done is you've exchanged have you ever heard Alex Ramosi talk about this? I love this. I'm going to make a video on this. Influence versus fame. You understand there's a lot of content creators that don't have as much influence as us that are 10 times more famous.
Yes.
Like, I can fill up a room full of guys and I can get guys to actually take action and change their life. So Brittany Renner, do you know who she is? The girl, she's this woman who, like, she had a bunch of videos where she talked about sleeping with 3 guys at the same time, and she wrote a book about getting rich athletes to get her pregnant.
Oh, doesn't she? Yeah, she has a kid.
Yeah, she has a kid with PJ Washington. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So like, and I'll say this right now, Brittany Renner is 10 times more famous than me, but I have more influence. You have more influence than Brittany Renner. No one woke up this morning and be like, man, Brittany Renner really changed my life and made my life better today. No one says that, right? Same thing with like Chris G.Q. Perry. There's these guys that they pander to women and their advice is always like, bro, it's your fault that blah, 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 whatever. There's this one Chris G.Q. Perry when he goes, you hit the gym after a breakup. Bro, you think your body was the problem? You have the emotional intelligence of a doorknob. And I'm like, this is crazy that you pander to women like this. There's nothing wrong with a guy going to the gym after a breakup. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why would you say this? And then you come to the realization, oh, he keeps getting rewarded by the algorithm for saying this stuff. That's what happens. And then the next thing you know, it's like this guy gets 1 million likes for a post for something that he's saying that's completely nonsensical.
Wow.
You know? And that's I think it's a dangerous place to be. But here's the difference. And I'll put this out right now. Chris G.Q. Perry is never going to have as many testimonials from men saying that he changed their life as I do. And his audience is 50, 100, 200 times bigger than mine. And the worst part is he's only speaking to men, but no men are listening.
It's all women listening.
It's all women listening while he's scolding men, saying that men should be held accountable. Like, it is the ultimate dog whistle pandering that I've ever seen in my life. And the things that he said that are objectively not true, you can catch your man in a dream. You can catch him cheating in a dream. He says this, bro, 1 million likes. 1 million. I'm not kidding. I'm not just throwing the word million out there to be funny. 1 million like seven-digit number of likes on a post saying that you can catch your man cheating when you dream about it, and women believe this nonsense. And I was like, it's so wild to me that this is who I'm losing to. But then I remember it's like, oh, my business keeps quadrupling every year.
Are you losing?
Yeah, I'm not losing because I have more influence than him, but he has more fame than me. And so that's an example. Like you have more influence than, say, Brittany Renner. You have more influence than like there's a bunch of content creators. Like I like Destiny as a person. I think he says some really crazy off the wall shit. But you probably have more influence than he does, where he has more fame, right? And that's just Harry Sisson is a great example.
Yeah,
the guy he gives no advice that's going to help anyone with their life. He's very famous, but then you find out he's also a hypocrite who's like, messaging girls trying to get nudes from them because he's not actually the male feminist that he purports to be. And so I would rather be influential than famous. And yeah,
no, that makes sense. No, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's what the male feminist is.
Right.
The male feminist can get famous, but he won't ever have influence.
I see. Yeah, it makes sense.
Most common limiting beliefs that you get from your clients.
I guess it would be that this won't work for me.
Yeah.
Like that this is like, that somehow you have to, it's especially around like the dominant sex stuff.
Yeah.
For me in particular, that's the thing that is hard for a lot of guys to kind of get over, is like, I'm not that guy. And I'm trying to teach them like, no, it's like, it's in you. It's kind of in you. Like this idea of being like primal, being passionate, being lustful. That's in every guy. And you can be that, you can become that dominant lover. It's just, you just got to learn, like, because dominance is kind of different for different, like you're gonna express it differently based on your personality, but it's not like, I'm not expecting every guy to like tie her up from the chandelier and like beat the shit out of her, or whatever, like to take it to that nth extreme. Like, but you can still be a dominant lover to your partner, and you can give her that thing that she's wanting in her subconscious. Because obviously different women are on that spectrum too. Like some women have had some pretty extreme kinky things done to them.
Yeah.
So they want some pretty extreme kinky things done to them all the time. It's frightening
sometimes, right?
Yes. I'm like, am I going to go to jail for having sex with this woman? Like
if someone had walked in, one of my female friends, we're just friends, but we do sleep together sometimes. And she's asked me to do things where I'm like, somebody walked in on us right now, I'm going to jail.
Right.
I can't believe you're asking me to do this. I'm glad it's with me because I'm not going to hurt you. But Jesus Christ, girl, like crazy stuff.
So like women are on that spectrum as well as men are, right? And the thing I try to like baby step guys through is like, if you're going to, try out more of these sort of dominant sex acts and try and be more of a leader in the bedroom, be more dominant in the bedroom, you have to kind of go first. This is a concept Owen Cook used to talk about, right? What you feel, she feels, right? So if I'm trying to teach a guy to, let's say, pull a woman's hair prop as a basic example, right? If he's, and this tries back to the idea of congruence, if he's not sure of himself when he's doing it, she's going to feel unsafe. But if he's sure of himself, if he's sure of the technique, for example, if he's sure that what he's doing is actually going to be received positively, then it's going to be received positively. And she's going to feel safe in that act, and she's going to enjoy it. So it's a positive feed. He's going to get this positive feedback loop. Yeah. And that's the key, is like in giving him the right tools and the right frame of mind so he can get that positive feedback loop for the first time. And then his eyes open up and he's like, oh, I can have sex this way. And it's going to, and it creates a fantastic experience for her. And I get a more submissive woman on the other end. Yeah. I get a woman who's more feminine on the other end. Yeah. She stops nagging me. She stops asking me to take the trash out just because I did it down right. That's interesting. I wonder what else I can
it's so wild. It doesn't even make sense, bro. Yeah. Like I came home yesterday. My whole place is clean. Like my furniture's been moved around. I'm like, what happened? And I almost feel bad. I'm like, hey, I can hire a housekeeper. Like, do you really need me to do this? She's like, no, I want to do this for you. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. Like, that's great. But like, again, according to, Sadia Khan or all the critics of my stuff, it's like, no, you only get sluts. And I'm like, I don't, because the problem is, how can we express it to them? Unless they live our lives, they'll never believe it. Unless they actually try it, they'll never believe it. It's so funny because Owen Cook is one of my best friends, and we talk every day, not every day, but every week for like hours. We'll talk on the phone because his business is similar to mine, and we express ideas all the time. And he's one of the few guys I can talk to about some of these ideas because he's dealt with them the same thing before. But it's like, until you see it, from the outside looking in, all we do looks like a scam to guys who are super cynical. because they've never done it. They can't believe it. They don't understand. They think that they truly think all women are $1,500 away from being a prostitute. They truly think that's all women are. Every woman is like that. They like that black pill only, that women only care about looks. Like they make incredibly reductive beliefs.
I don't know how many real world examples you need to like how
they don't want to believe
constantly you could just I could walk out this door and point to a billion examples of that being wrong.
It's just so wild, and they can't grasp it. And the thing is, if you spent all of your time worshiping at this altar of like only women care about money and looks, and then someone like me comes around and I keep showing you that isn't true, instead of like being open-minded and saying, okay, let me look into what he's saying, you just hate me. You just leave horrible comments and report me on YouTube. You can't even like have a debate with me. You just hate the fact that I said what I said. It's really crazy. This is another thing. I asked Aran Taraban about this because I thought it was a really interesting concept. We are seeing so many men who are objectively competent and successful, but they're beta. And I mean, great example of that is, Jeff Bezos should not be, I think we can all objectively say, Jeff Bezos being with a woman who's been married, 3 times, been with several professional athletes, that's who you choose to marry is madness. Why are we seeing so much? We're seeing I know you probably don't watch American football, but
Travis Kelce?
The Travis Kelce situation, like I kind of get, like she's going to be rich. She's rich as shit. Like that's generational. I kind of get that one. I get that one. Okay. Like your kids are going to be billionaires. I kind of get that one. But the one like that one, she's significantly wealthier than him. Yeah. The ones that are crazy to me is like the Travis Hunter. Do you know who that is?
No.
He's a corner for the cornerback for the Jaguars, and he's drafted in the 3rd pick in the draft. And he gets married to his girlfriend who has an OnlyFans, clearly has cheated on him. There's videos of her grinding on other dudes, has a tattoo of a $sign on her ring finger. She's been on several videos saying he's not my type. When he won the Heisman Trophy, she wouldn't hug him. She wouldn't kiss him. At her homecoming, like the last game that he played, she like looked annoyed that he was touching her, and he married her. And we're just like, we're all looking at, and so he had to take, as soon as this video comes out of her like grinding on this other dude, they have to take their social media down until the wedding happens. And they get married in the state of Tennessee with no prenup. And it's just like, I know exactly. That's how I feel. James Sexton did a video on this too. It's like, why are so many of these men, and like, again, I don't want to be overly critical, but like Logan Paul marrying Nina Agdal, it's just like, dude, you could have anyone you want. Like, why would you pick a woman who's clearly has a big roster and is like really like Nina Agdal? I don't know her personally, but it's very clear looking like her dating history. She's with Logan Paul because of how much status he has. That's not love. Yeah. And why are so many men falling into this? What do you think is going on here?
I think these basic concepts that the red pill teachers are just, no one's ever taught them this.
Yeah.
Like men have kind of been taught to not have standards, actually.
Yeah.
Like
a man having standards is misogynistic.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you're controlling.
Well, no, me not wanting to be with a fat woman. That's misogynistic.
Yeah, you're a misogynist.
Yeah.
You're a hateful, evil misogynist.
Exactly.
Because you have a standard of any kind. Yep. But also within a relationship, having a boundary, what has every man been told? If you have a boundary and you enforce a boundary, it means you're controlling.
Yeah.
Which makes you akin to like an abusive husband, basically.
Yeah.
And that's a very simple concept, but it's a very important one. Having a line that she can't cross.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a boundary, you don't actually have a relationship.
Yeah.
Every relationship, be it platonic, male to male,
it's only there because of boundaries.
It's got to have a boundary.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't like. That's why nations have borders.
Yeah.
It creates we have to operate within this agreed upon like social dynamic.
And the other thing is, I'm fine with other men having boundaries that are different than I do with my girl, because one of the things I believe about masculinity is the stockbroker respects the farmer, the rancher, and the rancher respects the stockbroker. About the way you raise your kids. And like me as a Christian, I respect the Muslim man who raises his children with discipline, and he hopefully respects the way I do the same thing. And so one of the things I say is, like, I have some friends that are Muslim. They don't want their girl walking out without a headscarf, and they need a male relative escorting them. That's not what I would choose, but I respect the fact that he chooses that. As long as the woman has the right to leave, I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. If that's how you want to raise your family. For me, I've been with so many Playboy models. For me to say I could never be with a woman who's posed nude, I can't. I'm sorry. There's just too many. At this point, I can't. I'm too far gone. Right. I don't have a problem with a girl who's posed nude. I have a problem with a girl who does guy girl OF and eats no other penises. It's not other guys' job to not hit on you. Right. It's not. The girls I date are really attractive. The fact that Champagne Poppy messages them, he should, because they're really attractive. I get that. But it's her job to protect the sanctity of her mouth, her nipples, her vagina, and her butthole. That's her job to protect that.
I like that.
Right. And so if she doesn't do that, that's on her. So what my line is, a woman who does not protect the sanctity of those things. We go out and a guy's put his arm around you and you just leave it on there. No, that's mine. His hand needs to be removed and you need to be the one to remove it. If you don't want to do that, then now you understand where my boundary is and we don't need to be together. Where some guys is like, I don't want my girl to ever leave the house for any reason whatsoever. She can't be on social media and I don't want her talking to her family. I think that might be a too extreme, but I've seen that happen before. Right. That's not how I see. And also because I like women who like other women, so we pick up women together. So it's a little different, but I also respect when people have boundaries that are different from mine. Yep. That's another big thing. And you probably had different points in your life where you had different boundaries with the relationship.
Completely. I had points in my early 20s where I didn't have any boundaries at all.
Yeah.
And that's why I can understand this concept.
Yeah.
Because I've gone from one extreme to the other.
Yeah. Personal accountability over blame. This is a big one that I think a lot of people confuse whenever we have our content, because we talk about concepts like, women will do some devious stuff or hypergamy or whatever. It's really hard for them to grasp. We're not blaming anyone.
We're not hating on women.
We're not hating on women. Like when we talk about delusionality, it sounds like an insult. Until you have a child, until you have a woman who has your child, that delusionality is now a feature. It's not a bug. We like that delusionality. She's going to get him, do whatever it takes to get him in the best preschool. Yeah, my child is a genius, whatever. All the care that he needs. He's fed, he's clothed. That delusionality, she has this unconditional love for the child, that's a feature. And so people think we blame women. It's like, no, we do express that men and women are different, but no one's blaming women or men for any of this. And I was wondering, like for us as men, whenever I hold men accountable in my content, no one's offended.
Right.
Because we're men. We don't have first of all, we don't have the privilege to be offended. And if I tell a fat dude he's fat, no one is offended for him. But if I hold women accountable, all of a sudden you can't sell Tampax and you can't sell feminine care products and makeup on my YouTube channel anymore. So I get ratioed. So like that's the difference that I found. And I was wondering if you could talk about that personal accountability versus blame. We hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah, man. I got my first death threat.
Oh yeah,
the other day from talking about like whether I think women should be allowed to vote or not. And I thought, well, we let women vote and then we have a rampant abortion. So it didn't seem to work out very well.
Yeah,
that's not me. Like there's a degree of accountability to put on
of course,
that. Like,
of course.
I didn't fill out the ballot box for them.
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
So I think it comes from the innate part of men that wants to protect women.
Yeah.
So they're like, but they associate that with like not offending women and not, holding them accountable or pointing out responsibility.
But we also hold ourselves accountable. Yeah. Like the thing is, we're not going to change. Like it's not going away, dude. Like we both don't think it's going away. We don't think that.
I'll encourage guys all day to not consume it.
Yes.
But one, how big is my reach?
Yeah.
Right. And two, are the guys even looking for my advice on that topic?
Right.
Are they even going to listen to me? You know what I mean? I'm not going to single-handedly take down the porn industry as much as I would like to.
It's blame as if I were to say, let's get rid of OnlyFans. Like I know OnlyFans isn't going away.
Right.
I know it isn't. So because I know it's not going away, let's discuss the accountability that we need to take as men in the current playing field that we're in, rather than blaming people. Right? Because blaming people, while it will get you a huge following on social media, because you create a safe place for victims when you blame people, it doesn't improve anyone's life.
Right.
And that improving people's life is how you create influence. Blaming people is how you create fame.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I like that.
But I've seen you hold men accountable. Stop watching. You're the one, you came on my show and said that. That's the thing that I want to express is like very different. Because someone on the outside looking in, like that guy you were debating, talking about what he believed the red pill was, he thinks the red pill is blame. That was the first thing he said. Red pill is not about blame. And I'm not even red pill. I don't even think you're like that hardcore red pill either. Red pill is not about blame. It's about looking at the world objectively and then saying it's no one's fault. The scorpion stings the frog because it's a scorpion. It's no one's fault. It makes sense?
The analogy I like to use is a tiger has stripes.
Yeah.
They go skin deep.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just on the fur; it's skin deep.
Yeah.
You know, and I use that as a good analogy for women too, because it's not like, would you get angry at a tiger for trying to eat you? Not really.
Yeah.
You'd be sad about it. But it wouldn't necessarily make you angry.
Yeah.
You're like, you wouldn't be bitter and resentful if a tiger tried to eat you.
It's not blame.
I'm not blaming the tiger.
Yeah.
It's its nature. Yeah. And that kind of goes, that goes for women. Stop. I don't want guys to blame women for you know.
Yeah.
If you're getting shitty reactions, if you're having shitty interactions with women, you need to look at yourself in the mirror first.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing that is causing this bad interaction to take place?
Yeah. I'm a guy. I lead with money all the time and I keep attracting hookers. It's like, am I going to blame the hookers?
Yeah.
No, you need to learn game so that you stop leading with money.
Yes.
That's another big one. Like I said, this is probably the 80th time I've said this. You know, if any guy thinks that I've ever paid a single girl to be in a photo with me, go on a date with me, whatever, they're all tagged. Right. If you find one girl, I'll give you $50,000 if you can find one girl I've ever paid. I've been saying this for years. I finally had a guy the other day. He started messaging all these girls and saying, hey, how much did Michael pay you for X or whatever? And so one of two things happened. Either I got tons of screenshots because the girls, it's in the request folder and the guys didn't respond. Or I had one girl say, hey, he pays me in orgasms in Chipotle because I'm dating him. And I, you know, blah, blah. And instead of saying, okay, cool, I see that Michael doesn't pay girls, his response are, you must be unhealed or you're a low quality one. So there's no way he can accept the fact that I'm around attractive women because I understand game and I understand social dynamics. The answer has to be that I'm paying them. And when it isn't, then it's really bad because now look at this answer. He's missed his whole life. He was taught the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And so now it's nothing but anger. And that's what you get too when you talk about death threats. Right. Like the death threats come because you've attacked a religion.
Right.
Like one of their core beliefs, you've provided evidence against it. If what I'm saying is essentially wrong, this is the reason why you don't have to do that many debates against flat earthers, because eventually you figure out the earth's not flat. It's like one of these things where it's like, why'd you have to kill Charlie Kirk? Why'd you have to kill him? Because everything he said was wrong. If everything he said was wrong, then you don't have to kill him. Do you see how that works? If everything he said was wrong, then you just let him be wrong, and then his wrongness takes over and he loses credibility.
Yep.
But that's not what happened. Instead, he went on one college tour after another, embarrassing liberals, regardless of what you think about him, regardless if you completely disagree with him. Regardless, he embarrassed liberals, and millions of people watched him just dunk on liberal after liberal at these college tours. And all of his answers were curated, and he had an answer for every single thing. And if all he was saying was wrong, why do you have to kill him? You don't see I'm not going off and killing people who are saying that biological men can have a baby. I don't have to kill them. You want to know why? Because they're wrong.
Yeah.
In the end, you're just going to, their wrongness will win. Why'd you have to kill him? You had to kill him because he said something that was true, but it attacked your religion. And in this case, your religion is whatever progressive, racial, or LGBT thing that you find is your religion. You had to kill him? That's why. What does that say? You had to kill him. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's absolutely been tragic, man. It's just it's and the reaction that I've seen online from liberals as well.
We're going to talk about that tonight.
Celebrating it
tonight on the show. We're going. If you guys watch Access Vegas, this is going to come out after that. We're actually going to show a bunch of those people who got fired from their jobs for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death.
I personally know someone she has led to about 100 people being fired at this point.
Yeah. If you can find a clip of that, I'd like to show that tonight.
Oh, she's been just crushing it. Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to go over was, for you, were there any specific philosophies or people, coaches that helped you, that shaped the way that you believe right now?
Man, tons of them. In regards to business concepts, there was two really key people that influenced me. One was Ryan Holiday.
Okay.
Through his book, Trust Me, I'm Lying.
Genius stuff.
Confessions of a Media Manipulator.
Yeah.
That if you want a crash course in modern outrage marketing or just modern attention marketing in general, and it's an old book too.
The problem is it all works.
Yes.
And if it's all about energy and vibe and the meritocracy, then everything Ryan Holiday says shouldn't work.
Right.
You're offended not because it doesn't work. You're offended because it does work.
Yeah.
You're not offended because if Leonardo DiCaprio was too old and only healed women would never have sex with him, you wouldn't have a problem with it. You have a problem with it because he keeps banging 10s that are under 25. You're not mad because it doesn't work. You're mad because it does work. He was like, you had to put Galileo under house arrest because what he was saying was true, not because it wasn't true. And so it's the same situation here. Like people, you get disillusioned. You start saying, wait a second, I can just do things to get attention and I have status. Uh-oh, that makes us monkeys, doesn't it?
Makes us more predictable than we like to admit.
Yeah.
Much
more transactional, more cynical. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
He was a really good big influence. Another big influence of mine in the business world was a guy by the name of Simon Black. He taught me to think about money as compressed time.
Okay. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. He taught me like he convinced me that every product effectively solves a problem. And in solving problems, you save people time. So money, you exchange money for time.
You read Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell?
No, I haven't read that.
Yeah, please read that. It's exactly kind of the same thing.
Very similar concept. In terms of the pickup stuff, man, like I'm going to be honest, Owen Cook, bro, he was a big influence on me in my 20s, man.
Me too, obviously.
I watched a lot of Owen Cook stuff. You might be familiar with a guy called Michał.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, he was obviously in that
Michał means Michael in Polish. Yeah. I used to go out with Michał all the time.
Yeah. He was a big influence for me.
Michał was the first guy to do the hidden infield.
Exactly.
He had a bag and then it was a camera in there.
Yep.
This kind of stuff would be very much frowned upon today, but he was the first guy. And by the way, he would get rejected by women and still film it. He would still post it.
Oh, yeah. But that was so influential. All that like infield stuff was so influential because I came from rural Western Australia where there's like no women exist.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't get the same level of like social experience and as Owen would say, reference experiences, right? From like just going out because there's not that many people to interact with. So like being able to be online and observe all that stuff, I was like, oh, I could learn. You learn through osmosis a lot more than you realize.
Yeah.
Just by being around guys, you'll pick up mannerisms. You'll pick up little subtleties so much faster.
Like, you used to live with Justin. I stay at Justin's place all the time.
Right.
I've stayed at Owen's place several times. I used to stay at Michał's place.
Right.
Yeah. It is. I used to stay at Ty Lopez's place. Like it is one of these weird things. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't help but pick up all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in terms of like health and fitness, Tim Ferriss's stuff was really powerful.
Yeah,
like Tim Ferriss, and I'll say even probably an even bigger nod is Mark Sisson.
Yeah,
Mark Sisson, Dr. Mark Hyman, and Chris Kresser, three really influential health and nutrition writers. Their stuff is amazing.
Yeah. Is there a historical event that you think is underrated that you can think of in your life? Underrated. An underrated historical event. For me, it would be like the invention of the transistor and broad spectrum antibiotics, stuff like that. Like, is there a thing that you find is underrated?
The Great Emu War.
What is that?
Of Western Australia.
What is it?
You know what I'm talking about, Carl.
It's an emu war?
The Emu War.
What happened there?
It was the Australian government, the Australian military officially went to war with emus because they were decimating crops and they were trying to control the population. And they had literally Gatling guns. And the emus won.
How'd they win?
They just evaded.
That's incredible.
Gunfire. Yeah, and the army basically conceded defeat because they couldn't kill them.
They couldn't kill all the emus?
Yes.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. If you read about the Texas Rangers in Texas, they were like just killing Cherokee Indians. They were basically funded by the federal government to do nothing but kill these Cherokees. And what they did is started murdering horses. They started killing as many horses as they could because the Cherokees, that's how they were the greatest horse archers in the world at that point.
That, yes.
And that's what they did. So that's a really interesting one.
Didn't they also isn't that also why they killed a bunch of buffalo?
Yeah. Correct. But that wasn't in Texas. But yes, you're correct. That the way that the settlers, the colonists were trying to combat the Native Americans was through killing bison, killing buffalo, and killing the horses.
Got it.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were doing. Yeah. For me, you want to know what the funniest thing is? It was the 17th century before we took the first arithmetic mean, statistics. There were no statistics. Meaning before that, I want you to consider, we had already discovered the law of gravity. Right. We understood the basics of physics and no one understood statistics, which is why when we have women right here and be like, what percentage of men are over 6 feet tall and make $100,000 a year? And they're like, I don't know, 40% of men, 50. And it's like, no, it's 2.2% of men because humans don't understand statistics. Humans understand occurrence, but they don't understand statistics. So one of the coolest things for me was the idea that it took that long for someone to figure out how to take an average. Isn't that crazy? The 17th century before somebody figured that out. It's wild. The biggest misconception about you and your field
is that I encourage men to be degenerates.
Yes. Same.
That's absolutely the biggest misconception about me. And in particular, obviously, I'm not trying to bash Christians, but they just seem to come after me a lot. It tends to come more often than not from guys who are pretty, vehement Christians. And my response to them is always you can apply everything I'm talking about in the context of a marriage.
Yeah.
All of it. Like I do teach like dating advice and a bit of social dynamics stuff as well, but I'm primarily teaching sex advice, which you need to do to consummate a marriage and have kids. Why not take my advice?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I have a degenerate past. Sure. No argument from me in regards to that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that what I'm teaching is incorrect.
Yeah. Is there a profound truth that you think women will never admit?
It's stumping me, Mike.
Huh?
It's stumping me a bit.
I think the idea that they get dressed up, not for attention.
Yeah.
That's a big one. It's like you don't clean your house in lingerie. You wear the things you wear so that you can get attention.
So, how was that question phrased again? Say it again.
Is there a profound truth that you think women would never admit?
I mean, about themselves, like what you just said, but I think about men is that men like value fertility over everything else.
Yeah.
I think women used to understand
subconsciously
that.
they do.
Yeah.
Like you still want, if you saw a super hot girl and she was infertile, you'd still want to have sex with her.
Right.
That's it. I totally agree.
Like you don't
totally
know,
agree.
but that's you consciously know she's
you
infertile.
consciously know.
You don't actually subconsciously know that she's infertile.
Yeah. And then the other one I was going to ask you, is there a conspiracy or an uncomfortable truth that you believe that a lot of people have a hard time with?
Ooh. Yeah, I think, well, I'm quite a big fan of a lot of the conspiracies. I think 9/11 was not what
they said it was.
They said it was.
Yeah.
I think at this point in time, it's a pretty obvious one. I'll take that even further for my Australian listeners. I believe most Americans will have no clue what I'm talking about, but the Port Arthur massacre.
Okay.
That was the event in Australia that led to them taking our guns away. That was 100% a setup. That was
Got it.
The official story is that Martin Bryant went to I think it was a McDonald's car park in Hobart somewhere, Port Arthur rather, and shot up a bunch of people. Yes, a bunch of people got shot. Problem is, Martin Bryant is a clinical, can barely tie his own shoes.
Yeah.
And he pulled off what I believe is one of the most accurate mass shootings that have ever been committed. Yeah. And it wasn't until I had an Australian friend who was in the military point all this out to me that I questioned it.
Yeah.
So, very interesting.
Interesting stuff, man. Where can people find you?
Cool. If you're a guy, the best place to go is you can go to 5subtlemistakes.com, the number 5, subtlemistakes.com. You can get a free guide that I will give to you, all about how to fix your bedroom life like that night. A bunch of stuff you can fix instantly. If you're a woman and you're watching this, and I'm sure you have a lot of women watching your stuff, I've just released a brand new free guide for women. You go to sterlingforher.com. You can get what I've labeled the pleasure blueprint, which teaches you how to get better sex from your man.
Yes.
In a way that doesn't offend his ego, doesn't bruise his ego, doesn't give him
I like how
erectile dysfunction.
I really like how you're expressing that. Better sex from your man. How do you get better sex from a woman? She needs to be hot and do what I say. I'm sorry if that's really, women are like, don't you want a woman who's super experienced and knows how to do all these things in bed? No. Be really hot. Do what we ask. For some reason, great sex happens. Isn't it weird?
It's incredible.
Isn't it weird? So I like what you said. It's like learn how to get your man to give you better sex, because we have to perform. We are the performers in the end. That's awesome, man. What do you have coming up in the future?
Flying off to Dublin. I've got a speaking engagement there in about a week's time. So I'm looking forward to that. That's basically it. And then working more with female clients this year.
Yeah, I need to make a female LTO. Yeah, that seems like a great idea.
Very excited about it because it's my first time of like kind of attacking the problem from a different angle.
That's awesome.
So it's really exciting.
All right, so we're gonna be done here. We need a break because we have Access Vegas coming on. You've been on once before. Yeah. It's different now. You'll see. It's gonna be a great time. So make sure you guys check that out. It should have been come out before this. We're gonna have him on Access Vegas. Make sure you check out all his stuff. Thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. I really do appreciate the comments and the feedbacks you guys gave me on the Charlie Kirk video that I did with Rollo. I didn't expect it to blow up that much. I really do appreciate all the stuff that you guys were saying. And I'm just gonna say this one more time, guys. Like, if you're happy about somebody else dying, keep it to yourself, bro. I'm not telling you this because I'm threatening you. I'm telling you this because you're gonna lose your job. You're gonna lose your merchant account. You're gonna lose your processing. You're gonna lose your girlfriend. You're gonna lose all sorts of credibility. It's gonna follow you for the rest of your life. Some of you didn't listen, and now it's all over the internet. Every single one of you was saying this kind of stuff. It's crazy. So my piece of advice to you, man, if you got something to say like that, that's mean, just keep it to yourself, man. Keep it to the facts. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you all next week.